Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with Andrew Velez, Joel Dehls, and this is now episode 176. In this episode, we are going to give our first round winners and losers of the NFL draft, react to big time wide receivers being traded, and more. A quick Patreon and YouTube member shout out to Danko Hawkins, Matthew Jimenez, Icon No Cap Anthony, Caleb, Travis, Drews the Goat, Holmes, Nairi, your boy Nick, Pimp Chimpin, Jake the Snake, Corrupt, G Boog, Kobe, Dylan, Afosa, Mason, Rico the One, Gentile Drew, Cade MVP, Mark, SP Vorzi Shot, Jordan Watt, Evan, Dylan, Joel is the Goat, Mayo, Andre, Matthew, Peter, Daniel, Ben, William, Ruthless Rootster, Sensei Stevie, Joel B, SA Crimes, Kevin S, Eagle Dollar, Tizzy, Corey, Get Funkoed, Dylan, Playboy, Orlando, Big Chuck, Michael, Greg, Cole, Liam, T Grove, Tua Sucks on Ka, Ryan, Epic Lankiness, Aaron, It's Black Ace, Anthony, BJ, PJs, Langston, Jazzy Juice, Johannes, Ruben, Dave, Muffins, John, Sean, Burner Hoops, Court Cousins, P. Dot, George, Hakari, Martine, and Jay Aqua.
Good old Jay Aqua, man. Let's go.
So SP Vorzi Shot sent in a picture in Discord that I saw this morning. And he took a picture with Josh Giddey.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like a camp for like in Australia or something.
Okay.
And yeah, he took a picture with Josh Giddey. It's
That's
pretty cool.
lit.
He took a picture with a future Hall of Famer.
Your message killed me.
Which one?
You said you took a picture with the future Hall of
Oh,
Famer.
yeah? Jesus Christ.
It might be worth a lot of money one
Could
day.
be. Just try to get it NFT'd.
I tried something different this episode. Instead of putting a jersey up there, putting a sweater up there. It's vintage Super Bowl. I don't know what number it is, but it was the
31.
Packers versus the Patriots.
Quick math.
Yeah. I didn't even look back. I just, I
X's.
taking your guys' word for it. The NFL draft, the first round at least happened. The second round is going to happen while we're recording. So by the time this episode is done with, the draft probably is going to be over for most of you guys. We're going to record again Monday or Tuesday a football episode, and in the midst of that, try to find where we're going to record basketball. But
Bring out the brooms, man. Bring out the brooms. In four? Damn, bro. In four. Remember the fake confidence comment you had last time I was on the show? You telling me I had fake confidence in the C's?
I think you do, and I think it was just coincidence.
We just swept that. Coincidence?
Yeah.
We swept
You
them.
tweeted after game one, this series is going to take time off my lifespan.
Yeah, and games
Off
1 and
game
2
one,
it
yeah,
did.
of course.
Game
You set it
3,
off
first
game-
half, but then second half of game 3 and game 4, nothing.
Okay, but you there was a little bit of fear there. You act like you just like went in.
We had a game-winning shot game 1. God
Yeah.
forbid I was up and down the entire game.
NFL Draft Day 1 notes. Ian Rappaport tweeted this. At number 20, Kenny Pickett was the latest first quarterback drafted since Jim Drunken Miller in 1997.
Damn.
I don't know what that means exactly.
Was he nice? Let's see.
But also, Kenny Pickett is the first quarterback. Well, this is the first draft that only one quarterback was taken in the first round since 2013, the E.J. Manuel one.
They said it was a bad quarterback class, and the NFL agreed with them.
Yeah, and in 2013, it was a bad one too. And, you took E.J. Manuel, and he wasn't good.
He wasn't good at all.
If you guys wanted to know, Jim Drunken Miller was not good by any means.
He was pick number 20, I assume.
What team did he go
26th overall. He went to San Francisco 49ers. He played 6 games,
in his career?
239 yards, 1 touchdown.
I copied this tweet word for word. And just now, after reading it, am I noticing that it makes no sense. At number 20, Kenny Pickett was the latest first quarterback drafted since Jim Drunken Miller in 1997.
Why doesn't it make sense?
He was the latest first quarterback drafted.
Since, he's saying. Since.
What does that mean, though?
Since 97.
Mm-hmm.
Since
Like before that,
since
there was someone who went later.
1997. Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Word.
see. Okay.
Makes sense.
A little bit confusing.
A little
there.
wordy.
Yeah. Why don't they just throw in the EJ Manuel? And it's much more digestible. But also, 6 wide receivers went in the top 20, the most in the common era.
Why do I feel like E.J. Manuel was like number 10?
He was in the teens. Yeah, I think he was the 15th pick. And Georgia had 5 defensive players drafted, a record for a college since 1967.
And no receivers taken by the Packers or Chiefs, which
16.
we basically penciled them in to take at least one. So
that was nuts.
6 was actually lower than I was expecting. I was expecting at least 7.
I was going to say, you had an inclination that the Chiefs were going to go defense, but I don't think any of us
with
expected.
McDuffie, with McDuffie there, I understand taking him.
Oh, no, for sure.
Karlaftis too, though.
Karlaftis, he's good as well, but receiver, I mean, it's Juju,
I kind of had,
MVS.
in our mock draft, I think I had them taking
that's what
2 defenders.
But that's what I just said. I said you had an inclination that they were going to go 2 defenders.
I had the Packers taking 2 receivers, and I should have known they never take receivers.
I'd at least think 20 years.
Receiver or running back or tight end.
Yeah,
crazy.
The shocking thing, the shocking part about the draft, it was the first pick in the draft, Travon Walker. Now,
it wasn't that shocking. The lead
it wasn't
up to
shocking. It wasn't shocking,
but this was the most under wraps we knew about number 1 for a while. Like we knew obviously Trevor Lawrence and Kyler's and Joe Burrow's years before. This was the most under wrap number 1
I don't know
has
if
been
it's
in a while.
under wraps because we kind of knew it was going to be Trayvon.
But up until this week, we thought it was Hutchinson, and then within the last few days before the draft, that's when Walker started getting more steam.
You think so? I think like we've known Trayvon to the Jags for like a week and a half.
I would say 15 minutes before the draft, I knew that.
Did we have
Trayvon
Hutch go
was
1 or
guaranteed.
Trayvon in our mock?
We had Hutch. Because you went Hutch.
I had the first pick,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's what I would have done.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I think that Hutch was the good idea for sure. But
Yeah, Hutchinson is a better player. So Travon Walker was the first pick. Now, was this a big mistake by the Jaguars? Now, I think this was, and I'll be honest, had it not been for the Jaguars selecting Devin Lloyd later in the draft, I would think this day was an absolute travesty for them. Travon Walker is not a first overall pick. I understand that the physical upside is there, and Trent Baalke, like he thinks Travon reminds him of Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith had 11.5 sacks as a freshman in college. Like Aldon Smith was proven, like he had a track record. Travon wasn't even recruited as an edge rusher. He was recruited as a defensive tackle, 26th recruit in the 2019 class. He went to Georgia to play defensive tackle, but there were players in front of his position, so he transitioned to edge. Freshman season, nose tackle. Positional change in 2020. He moved to the outside. He had 1 sack and 2 tackles for loss. And in this past season, his first full season as a starter, he had 6 sacks and 7.5 tackles for loss. Now, most of the time, when he played on the edge, he wasn't lined up outside the tackle. He was lined up in front of the tackle, which damaged his production. But his production in college is one of the least productive edge rushers since 2008, selected in the top 5. And those players were Deion Jordan, like Ziggy Ansah, Tyson Jackson.
All these guys who had great combines as well.
Yeah, Tyson Jackson, 3rd pick by the Jags in 2009. We know the Jags aren't a great drafting team. Tyson Jackson, bust. Deion Jordan, bust. Ziggy Ansah, until his injury, was a productive player. But that's the high end that you're getting with Travon Walker. And this is one of the more unproven first overall picks that we've ever seen. And if you're drafting a player with the first overall pick, first overall pick means the best player in the draft. The player should be proven. It shouldn't be an unproven player. Snaps outside the tackles, Travon Walker had 529. 49% of his pressures were unblocked or cleanup. 10%. He had a 10% pass rush win rate with stunts and blitzes removed. I just don't know how you can justify him being number 1 overall. It's just, I think, to me, a Trent Baalke loving this guy, loving his upside and potential, and now getting him. I would have loved the Hutchinson and Josh Allen duo, but it turns out we're going to get Travon Walker and Josh Allen. And Travon Walker is a good run defender. But, I mean, you're telling me you're drafting a defensive tackle at number 1 who, I mean, probably isn't even the best defensive tackle in the draft at that position. Like Jordan Davis is
he's not
a better prospect.
Tackle. He's not going to play. He's 260.
So that's why, for me, I think this was a bad pick. And had it not been for Devin Lloyd, I think the Jaguars lost this day. But Devin Lloyd is somebody who slipped to them. 2-time Dick Butkus Award winner, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. He actually could have went to the draft last year. He stayed because he wanted to lead Utah to their first Pac-12 championship in honor of 2 of his teammates who were killed by gun violence. He led them to the Pac-12 title. He won. He had a pick 6 in that game, and he's just a freak athlete. And now that Miles Jack is gone, he's going to definitely be a starter there. You could pencil him in there. So that's why I was very high on the Devin Lloyd pick. Very good in coverage, 53.9 passer rating allowed and 340 coverage snaps. So he was more worthy of the first overall pick than Travon Walker, if I'm being honest.
He could rush the passer too, but I don't know if I'm going that far.
Travon Walker, I just thought this was a horrible pick. This was a Jaguars pick. And
horrible. All right, you're getting
this
very
was a horrible
exaggerated.
pick.
No, to
This
say
was a
Devin
horrible pick.
Lloyd's more deserving is crazy.
Devin Lloyd is more deserving of
No,
that
because
first
if
overall
Walker
pick.
hits as an edge rusher, he's going to be a really, really good edge rusher. If you hit on a middle linebacker, it's not as
They were drafting
game-changing.
off potential and ceiling, and that where. Listen, I think we're all going to agree. We wouldn't have gone Travon Walker. I think we all would have went Aiden Hutchinson, and this is going to be one of the few times where all three of us do agree on something. However, I'm not going to go as far to say like it was terrible, god awful.
It was.
It depends. Listen, me personally, I'm not trying to, especially a team that has the number 1 overall pick, aka you need the most help. Clearly, you can't take a chance. You can't gamble. This was a gamble. Taking Travon Walker is a gamble because you're banking on him developing into this physical freak. Well, he's already a physical freak, but statistically using these physical attributes to lead to being a statistic dominant type player, and that when you're the Jacksonville Jaguars is a gamble that you can't afford to really take right now. You have Trevor Lawrence. You want to put him on a team that is ready to go immediately. You want to utilize this rookie contract of Trevor Lawrence while you can. Once this time's up, then you're gonna have to probably pay Trevor Lawrence. Then that's when the team really starts to have its tolls taken, and you really can't afford to spend money elsewhere to benefit Trevor Lawrence as much. So you needed to do whatever you can to maximize this time slot that you have. Aiden Hutchinson is the safest pick here. He was the best pass rusher in college last season, and to take a gamble on Travon Walker, that's where I have my issue.
You said it perfectly. It's a very Jaguars pick. Leading up to the draft, there was reports going out that the GM, owner, and head coach all wanted different guys. And I believe they were down to 4 players. I'm assuming it was the 2 edge rushers and the 2 tackles, Ickey and Evan Neal. I would have liked it more if they went Ickey instead of Hutchinson or even Evan Neal. As long as you get someone who helps Trevor Lawrence immediately instead of passing up on the best pass rusher for the second best pass rusher. And I understand the upsides there for Walker, right? But the reason why Walker got all this hype and really shot into the top 5, I mean, he was minus 700 to go top 5, which is absolutely ridiculous. Before the combine, he was going to be a first-round pick, but we were talking him more top 10, top 15. But then he runs a 4.5, and everyone freaks out and acts like they've never seen an edge rusher before in their life. I understand that Walker, it's ridiculous.
4.5 is insane.
Hutchinson ran a 4.7, which is also ridiculous for his size, still in the 90th percentile in terms of people of his height and weight. But in the most important drills for edge rusher, in the short shuttle, in the 3-cone, Hutchinson put up better numbers. So the drills that actually matter the most for edge rushers, Hutchinson was more impressive in. And Walker, while he had him beat in the broad jump, in the vertical, in the 40, obviously. I get all of that. But then you have to take into account the production. Hutchinson, just in his final season, had 14 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. Walker, in his career at Georgia, had 11 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. So we're talking about one season. Hutchinson cleared him by himself. Like, I understand that Walker had a lot more talent around him. They had 5 guys go in the first round on that Georgia defense, and a few of them were on the defensive line as well. But you have to take into account the production that Hutchinson was going to be able to bring with you, and as well as the floor, because you want a guy, number one, you want the upside, but you also want the floor. And I don't see Walker and Hutchinson's ceiling as that far apart. I think both of these guys, if they hit, could be really good edge rushers. But Hutchinson has just proven it year in and year out ever since he really stepped into Michigan. He put up great combine numbers. For everything that I saw, he was great in interviews. I mean, Walker was as well. I don't think that's an issue or anything. But in terms of the combine, which really set them apart, I don't get it, because the most important drills, Hutchinson was more impressive in. So the one area I think that the Jaguars looked at and maybe, sealed it for them was the arm length, because that's one area where Hutchinson is really, I think he's in like the 30th percentile. He has 32-inch arms. Walker has 35.5-inch arms, which are really long for his size. And the reason why it's so important is for edge rushers and for offensive linemen blocking them, whoever gets their arms or hands on the defender or offensive tackle first is going to probably win that rep, right? If you're able to get as an edge rusher into the offensive lineman's chest first, you have a better chance of going around him. Same thing, if the offensive tackle is able to get on the edge first, you have a better chance of containing him. So that might be one area where the Jaguars looked at and said, you know what, let's get the guy with the longer arms because he has a better chance of winning each individual rep, even though Hutchinson showed time and time again in Michigan it didn't matter.
You're right, and you said it perfectly. I'm going to stand by what I said. Travon Walker is not even a top 4 pass rusher in this draft or edge rusher. Kayvon, Hutchinson, Jermaine Johnson at 26.
You weren't even that high on him at 10, so I don't want to hear this.
No, at 4 I wasn't.
Well, 4 obviously, but no, we spoke about 10. You're like, I don't want it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have taken Travon Walker at 10. But what
you're crazy.
No, I'm not crazy.
You're crazy.
What I'm saying is that to not even take the best player at the position, a top 3 player at the position with the first overall pick is just ridiculous.
I would have taken Kayvon over Travon personally.
I like Kayvon more too.
And look at just moves the Jaguars have made. Like, yeah, they have gotten Trevor Lawrence help, but
help is correct.
Yeah,
that's so well said.
They've gotten him help. Christian Kirk is help. When they probably could have traded for like Hollywood on draft night and had a better receiver.
Oh my God, that would have been cool.
They got Trevor Lawrence. They got Trevor Lawrence help with these big time free agent signings that they overspent for. Brandon Scherf hasn't been able to stay healthy. You had I think Brandon Linder retired. So Brandon Linder retiring should be all more the reason to go with an offensive tackle or Icky, because he can play guard and tackle with that first overall pick. I just don't know what the Jaguars are doing, and I know.
Do we ever know?
I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, you just watch the Jaguars." Come on, let's.
Now I feel them because I feel the same way whenever I listen to whatever media or it's on YouTube talk about the Jets saying the same old Jets. I understand Jaguars going to feel the same way. There's a
difference though. There's a difference.
There's a shift now.
There's a shift.
Did you see? I quoted the tweet of all the 3 first-round picks with Jaylen Brown's the energy is about to shift because the energy is about to shift in New York.
It is,
and I feel it.
He's good, man.
I don't think anybody feels the energy shifting in Jacksonville. The only thing people feel is that Trevor Lawrence is going to live up to the height that he had coming out of college. And if he does that, then he can raise the Jaguars' floor because he'll mask a lot of their deficiencies. But Trevor Lawrence had a horrible rookie season.
Not great.
When you talk about the rookie quarterback, I mean, Davis Mills had a better season. Zach Wilson had a better season. Trey Lance
down the stretch.
Yeah. Trey Lance in his limited play.
He didn't have a stretch. You're right.
Trey Lance in his limited play. Mac Jones.
Okay, Mac Jones. Yes.
Four quarterbacks had a better season than Trevor Lawrence. And when we talk about situation,
Justin Fields, no,
he did not.
This guy is so narrative based. It's insane.
Davis Mills was in equally awful situation as Trevor Lawrence. When you talk about offensive line, weapons, running game. And he was better.
Brandon Cooks is better than everyone on the Jaguars, but 100% right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but the Texans also have an awful offensive line.
Awful.
They also have Urban Meyer, which helps.
True.
Oh, David Culley's so much better.
David Culley's not good too, but Urban Meyer was an absolute disaster. Doesn't get worse than him.
And Mills had some good coaches around him.
Yeah, he had your boy.
Yeah, Pep Hamilton. I love that. I love that for him. I'm not saying I don't, but Trevor Lawrence... He gets like it's just weird to me because
he shouldn't have a pass because Trevor Lawrence comes in. He's the highest touted prospect of all time. You need to come in and you need to show that you are. It's weird. Who everyone thinks that you are.
It's weird because Trevor Lawrence has gotten all these excuses for not being good his rookie season, and he's just a rookie. I understand it, but people mostly made those excuses because everybody penciled him in as a surefire prospect.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And everybody said there is no chance he fails. Year one he fails, and everybody's like, oh no, but. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all this. Look at all this stuff, though.
He has year 2.
Colts went 2-14, and Andrew Luck came in and was great right away.
If you notice...
This was supposed to be this generation's Andrew Luck.
If you notice...
You know what I mean, generation.
This is what I've noticed. Period. Before the 2021 draft, the quarterbacks everybody liked were Lawrence, Fields, Lance. That's who everybody liked. The ones that got heavily criticized were Zach Wilson and Mac Jones. Zach Wilson didn't have a
Did he
good
get
rookie.
criticized?
Zach
Yes.
definitely did.
At the
Yeah.
draft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, he got yeah.
I don't know, man. After his pro day, I feel like everyone was on the same page.
No.
This guy's
Yeah, but
After-
then everyone said, "Oh, are you going to draft him based on one throw in the pro day?"
And
Like
it
he
wasn't
wasn't
just
phenomenal
yeah,
at BYU.
Exactly. And not only that, but they also had clips of him he looked as if he had anxiety at the draft. And they made a lot of jokes about him. He went viral on draft night because of those
Interesting.
stuff.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
He also was only dominant 1 year at BYU too. Wasn't like Fields who did multiple.
And then
seasons.
Mac Jones, everybody's like, oh, look, Alabama,
a
not
product.
mobile, all this other stuff. And those were the two ones that were most hated on. Zach Wilson, I understand, is a wait and see. But Mac Jones already showed year one he's going to be at least a good quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
But people are still finding excuses to say, oh, no, but Mac Jones, this is a ceiling, though. This is a ceiling. You know, they're still finding ways to criticize Mac Jones.
I don't hate that.
I hate that because it's not his ceiling.
The
Mac
only reason
Jones
why
is a good
statistically,
quarterback.
statistically, it's not his ceiling.
The
But
only
I
reason-
understand
yes,
like play, like
yes,
how he
yes,
played.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I know what you're saying, but that they've made excuses for Fields. They've made excuses for Lawrence.
Fields deserves excuses. Lawrence, not so much.
So Lawrence doesn't, but Fields does.
I mean, come on, the Bears. You can say that is a worse situation than the Jaguars.
No.
At least Trevor Lawrence has a
No, it's
decent
not.
offensive line.
No.
Decent. This guy, excuse me.
It's hard for me to. I have to give
Fields has
Trevor a
nothing-
pass
no,
though.
I'm
because
giving him a pass.
Urban
Listen,
Meyer was Urban Meyer.
I'm giving Trevor Lawrence
Coach
a
is the most
pass,
important thing.
But I'm just saying, Fields gets a pass. He
Yeah.
100%
Well, no,
deserves
everyone
it.
gets.
I
Once,
think
by the end of
every-
the second year, we'll know.
Every rookie quarterback gets a pass. I'm not trying to bash Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that there's an implicit bias. It's clear that there's a consensus belief that Lawrence gets a pass when they don't want to give these other quarterbacks a pass. Even Mac Jones, who was, runner-up for Rookie of the Year, is getting more criticized than Trevor Lawrence. And for what reason? It makes no sense. Had Mac Jones went to Jacksonville, he wouldn't have looked that bad. I promise you he wouldn't.
People want to confirm their biases or whatever
Yeah,
they thought before
without
the
a
draft.
doubt.
So I
Without a
understand
doubt.
it.
It's the draft community, the draft dorks. The draft dorks.
Draft dorks.
The narratives, the draft dorks come
It's
up.
always narratives. It's always narratives.
Draft
Everything
dorks.
is narrative based.
Of course.
Everyone.
Yeah. Thinking about it
Not
too
us.
much.
Not us.
Mac Jones is just a little bit different
Yeah.
in terms of
Take
his
it
poise
easy.
and moxie.
You would have taken him number one.
Yeah. Look, I actually was sitting here and I actually forgot about all the stuff that you don't like about Mac Jones. And I know,
What's all the stuff?
well, it's not
think
all
Tua-
the
you
stuff.
think Tua is better.
It's-
That's what he's going to
yeah.
say.
the
You think
one
Tua is
thing
better.
you don't like about Mac Jones is that you understand he's better than Tua, and you don't
no-
want to
and no-
give him
I don't
that
think he
edge.
believes that 1% in his body. He doesn't believe that.
There's nothing that Mac
He thinks
Jones
Tua's going to be better than Joe Burrow.
It's funny though because if you
Think so?
if you think Tua is going to be this great quarterback, which you do, you said like he's going to have a top 10 season.
I say on my
You should
chest.
you should not think Mac Jones has a limited ceiling if you think that, or at least this is his ceiling. Because I understand he has a limited one, but I think Mac Jones is going to, when it's all said and done, fall within that Kirk Cousins
I agree.
tier, where he's going to be a starter for a long time, and you surround him with a good roster, he can take you far.
I feel like Mac Jones' comp for me is Ryan Tannehill.
I'm not too fond of that. Let me ask you
He's
a
not as
question.
mobile as Tannehill.
Okay.
Knowing what we know now, if you're the Cowboys last year with the 10th overall pick, I know they took Micah, but knowing what we know now,
They traded back too.
would you have paid Dak Prescott that big time money or just taken Mac Jones at 10?
I would have given Dak his money.
That's a great question.
I would have taken Mac
I'm
Jones
leaning,
at 10.
I'm leaning to pay
I would
Mac
take
to
Mac
take
Jones
Mac.
and have that cap space.
I don't think
Cowboys have made it work. You get
I
Michael
know.
Parsons, who's
Oh, they made it work, but they also just let Randy Gregory walk. Amari had to get traded.
Let's
Cedric
be
Wilson had to
honest
leave.
here. If Mac Jones is on that Cowboys roster right now, do they not finish with the same record they did this past
Similar.
season?
It's very similar.
They are the same exact team in my opinion with Mac
Dak's
Jones.
better, but I don't think it's 140 or however much whatever. I don't remember what he got.
How many wins did they win this past season?
I think they had
11?
wins.
Yeah, I was gonna
Well,
say
they won the
something like
division. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Do they not win the division with Mac Jones? They win it with him. This past season, they definitely would have won it with Mac Jones.
that. I don't think Mac and Dak are. At least Mac's ceiling is incredibly
They
far
won
off.
12.
They won 12. Yeah. They definitely
Maybe
win.
they win 10 or 11 with Mac.
They definitely win those games with Mac Jones. They win the division with Mac
But being
Jones.
able to save that money and bring back all the guys, keep Amari, keep Gregory, that's what does it for me. It's just the money component. Because I think Dak's going to be a better quarterback long term. I don't think Mac has Dak's ceiling, but I don't think it's incredibly far off because we think Dak's around the 10th best quarterback.
Yeah, he's not 10. No way in hell he's 10. He's not top 10. He's 11. He's 11, 12.
Oh, bro, okay, sure. You said he's not 10. He's 11, 12.
The 10th best quarterback's like Kyler Murray, though. There's a gap.
Yeah, oh, no. Yeah, there's a tier off.
And he's not Matt Ryan either.
Okay.
He's not. So what I'm saying is that this past season as a rookie, Mac Jones led the Patriots to the playoffs, right? He doesn't have the receivers Dak Prescott has. The offensive line is similar. The Patriots have a better running game, but the running back talent on the Cowboys is better, and the Cowboys had a better defense this past season than the Patriots. The
Pats went on a stretch, though, where their defense was shut out.
Yeah, but when asking that question, I would definitely, if the Cowboys are redoing this, I wouldn't pay Dak. I draft Mac Jones, and the Cowboys are the same team with Mac Jones than they are currently with Dak Prescott.
You don't have Micah's presence.
Dak got 4 years, 160. So, yeah, 40 a year.
That's the only reason why I would probably not take Mac, just because of how dominant Micah is.
That's it.
Yeah, because it's Micah and Dak, or
because Micah has Defensive Player of the Year ceiling on him.
Yeah,
it's Micah 35 mil Dak or Mac Jones, and you can sign free agents.
I'm happy with the route that they took.
Well, they're not going to win the NFC East.
Oh hell no, they're screwed. They're screwed.
I like the Eagles a lot.
On to the next topic. The Detroit Lions. Now the Lions, they've been a laughingstock. I feel like the Lions and the Jets right now are two teams that have been laughingstocks for a long time, but are finally trending upwards.
I'd include the Giants in there too.
Yeah.
Now we know they drafted Aiden Hutchinson with the second overall pick. Home run pick, without a doubt. But the surprise move was Jameson Williams, trading up in the draft to now go get Jameson Williams. What do you think about this move? How dangerous does this make the Lions offense? Are we going to see 2018 Jared Goff?
Ooh, I want to start with you. Jameson's your guy.
I was definitely happy to see Jameson getting taken relatively early. I was shocked to see Olave taken before Jameson Williams. There must have been some type of worry within the Saints organization with Jameson Williams' health injury, and you have Michael Thomas who you can't rely on. You can't have two worries, so maybe that's the only way I understand. But for the Lions to come in and swoop in to steal Jameson Williams like that, to pair with Amon-Ra, you have DeAndre Swift already paired with Jamal Williams in that backfield. Now it's a matter of Jared Goff, being able to elevate these guys to be successful in this offense. We saw Amon-Ra down the stretch of the season be dominant, be arguably, I would say he's probably the third best rookie receiver last season. You had Jamar, you had Waddle, and then you had Amon-Ra. He was extremely productive. If you had him in fantasy,
would you rather have Amon-Ra or Elijah going forward? Elijah Moore.
Wow, that is an excellent question. Elijah, he showed flashes earlier than Amon-Ra did. I would probably go Elijah for the route running, but that's really close. That's a really good question. But this offense is very dynamic, very explosive offense. Amon-Ra showed that he can be very productive, and Jameson Williams is just one big play waiting to happen. DeAndre Swift was dominant when he was playing, both as a receiving back and a regular running back. DeAndre Swift is an extremely great talent. It's just a matter of the way that they use him and if he's going to be able to stay healthy, because that was an issue down the stretch.
They used him perfectly last year, though.
Absolutely.
And with Jared Goff checking down as much as he does.
No, for sure. And that was a concern coming into the season, and they completely threw that away. And the Lions having a solid offensive line, they have done a great job of putting guys in front of the quarterback. Now it's a matter of Jared Goff can elevate his play to bring the Lions to that next level. The defense still needs some work. Aiden Hutchinson, home run pick like we mentioned, for him to fall to 2, and for them to arguably get the best rusher in the draft when they desperately needed that, for sure. Excellent move for them. I love this draft by the Lions. We're going to talk about winners later, and you can 100% bet that the Lions will be there.
With you, I assume you had Aiden Hutchinson as the best player.
Oh, for sure.
And you have Jameis Williams as the best receiver.
There we go. So, what more can you ask for a team?
Big Lions fan this year.
Oh, absolutely.
I disagree with what you said about Jared Goff elevating his play. I feel like the Lions are putting Jared Goff in a position where he can be Jared Goff but still look good because the surrounding parts around him are very good.
So would you say what they're doing is what the Dolphins are doing with Tua?
Yeah, for sure.
In what sense?
That they're just putting phenomenal playmakers around their limited quarterback.
Tua's limited now?
Yes.
And that's he not been.
I mean, like you could like Kirk Cousins is limited. He's still a really good quarterback.
In what sense is Kirk Cousins limited though?
He doesn't have the ability to throw off platform like the top guys do. He's not as mobile as the top guys as well.
He's not. I don't know. I disagree.
You think Tua can make the same crossbody throws that Josh Allen, Mahomes,
Okay,
Herbert
come on,
can?
but that's
That's
different.
limited.
That's
a
limited.
limited.
I
mean.
guess.
Can he
We're
run?
talking about how many people can do that in the NFL.
Can he run like Zach Wilson?
I've seen Zach make some very similar throws.
He made
You know,
one.
yeah, he's
he
made some.
One.
No, he made more than
He
one.
made
He made more than
like,
one.
You guys have taken this one throw and say Zach Wilson's arm
He made
is
multiple in
unlimited.
the
Yes.
Tennessee game.
Can
he
he
made multiple.
Can Tua make a run like Zach, the one against the Jaguars, a 50-yarder?
Or can Zach Wilson run over a defender the way that Tua can? No.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Yeah. I wouldn't want Zach.
Yeah,
to
I don't
that,
want him to
though.
do that.
No,
Hell no.
yeah, because well, one, he doesn't have the capabilities, and two, he probably doesn't
He's
have.
probably
We
capable.
can't. I
He'll-
was gonna say we're not gonna talk
Nah,
about
no,
Zach being
I-
hurt with Tua.
Yeah,
I
he'll
literally
you
was about
stopped.
to
Okay,
go, and I
I
was
know.
like,
Zach
Sorry
might tear
yourself.
up his shoulder if he does that. That's why I don't want him to do that.
He's too pretty to do that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you can't ask for more if you're the Lions. If you're a Lions fan right now, you have gone through a lot of suffering. Shout out my boy Sean. He's gone through a lot of suffering, and for the Lions to hit a home run the way that they did is absolutely huge.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to go on with Jared Goff, and I'll let your guy.
So that's it. So I'll answer that.
Jared Goff is never my guy.
Let's be
What are you
real.
talking about?
I feel like you kind of like him more than the average guy.
I do, definitely.
If you're Jared
Because
Goff,
people think he's like
You have
the
to-
worst quarterback in the NFL.
He's like the
No.
20th best.
I'll say he's like 16, 18.
nah, 20. No,
I'm
way
not
too
good.
high.
I think 18, 20. Between him and Jalen Hurts. Is that not an argument?
No,
Is that
it's
a
not.
debate?
It's not. It's
Yes,
not.
it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You said Mitchell Trubisky over Jalen Hurts.
That's
Jesus.
close. That's
Dude, that-
close.
I feel like
You could take that back right now. They just got AJ Brown. You want to take that back?
Well, just because he has a spectacular season with one of the best wide receivers in the NFL doesn't mean that he's a better quarterback.
Okay, and Mitch has Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Najee Harris too.
Well, he might not even start now because they got Kenny Pickett.
If Kenny Pickett beats him out, there's no way in God's name you could say Mitch is better than Jalen Hurts.
Well, unless Kenny Pickett's really, really good.
Go on. What are you gonna say, Drew?
that he does need to elevate. Because if you're the Lions, you can't continue to live underneath the bottom of that division. That division, now that Rodgers is not throwing to anyone of relevance, you need to really try and put yourself in a position to contend for that division. And I don't think that's next season, but if Jared Goff decides to elevate, maybe they could fight for a wild card spot.
Look, I love this because I know there was a lot of smoke around maybe Malik Willis being the second overall pick, which I thought was
Thank
crazy.
Christ they didn't do that, man.
Because now they can get him in the second round. I mean, they could possibly get him. I think the Vikings hold their pick, though.
Yeah, they don't have a pick till the 60s. I want to say.
That would have been a mistake. I think the Lions are doing a great job. I said this on Twitter. I tweeted this out, that there is not a weakness on the Lions offense. And what I mean by that is that there is no position on the Lions offense currently that you look at and say, that's a dire position of need. Last year, it was wide receiver. They now have Jamison Williams. Amon-Ra St. Brown has showed that he can be a capable receiver in the NFL. They signed DJ Chark. They have 2 4-3 guys. And Jamison's going to be ready for camp. He's healing faster than people are expecting. TJ Hawkinson, they don't need tight end. Offensive line,
Great.
Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow, Jonah Jackson, Vitae. There's no dire need at running back. DeAndre Swift, there's not a dire need. And I know Jared Goff gets a lot of shit, but he's not a horrible quarterback. He is closer to 20 than he is 15, but he is a capable quarterback, and he can win games if the supporting cast around him is good enough. So you look at the Lions, and there's not one position on offense where you say, wow, that position sucks on their roster. It's not that way. And then defensively, they're getting better. Hutchinson, Michael Brockers, who's average, and Romeo Okwara was injured last year, but he's going to be healthy this upcoming season. In 2020, he had a breakout season, and the Lions then paid him. And then you also have rotational pass rushers in Charles Harris and Julian Okwara. The Lions are building something good. They brought in Deshaun Elliott, Gerard Davis, who was their former first-round pick, and Mike Hughes, who had a good season as a corner with the Chiefs. The Lions are building something good right now. I think they're ways away on defense. They need to bolster up that secondary, their linebackers, and get a outside of Aiden Hutchinson, which we're projecting him to be good right away. you're banking on guys like Romeo Cora who have only had one great year of production. So defensively, I think they're ways away. Offensively, they
can put up points.
Offensively, they're an upgrade from Jared Goff away from making a big time leap offensively.
They have the second best offensive core in that division. I mean, obviously, Chicago is terrible.
So
the Packers are terrible.
You're saying Minnesota,
Lions. Yeah, Jed is stealing. Dalvin Cook.
The defense needs to be better.
Yeah.
They were ranked 31st in scoring.
They were terrible. That's Dan Campbell's specialty, so I believe in. And I was kind of skeptical on Campbell, but he showed they have fight. They have grit. So shout out to Detroit. It looks like they're turning things around, and I think they're okay with Jared Goff one more season. Let him ride out. He'll put up a decent season. I mean, this past year statistically, he was not that bad. I know PFF rated him as like the 32nd best quarterback or whatever, but he really wasn't that terrible. I think. I know was he out? No,
19 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
Which is what it's average. It's whatever.
But for
it's
what you're getting from Jared Goff,
yeah.
They tied with the Steelers, who were a playoff team. I know they were without Ben, but even still. But in terms of Jameson Williams, this has the potential to change everything for this offense. Jameson, who was the guy who I wanted the Jets to take at 10, he wasn't my wide receiver 1, but I thought he brought something the Jets desperately needed at 10. And the same thing with Detroit, because you have Amon-Ra, who's probably more of a possession receiver.
Definitely.
DJ Chark's on a 1-year deal. Hawkinson, again, probably attacking over the middle of the field more than a vertical threat. And DeAndre Swift, who's great out of the backfield. But Jameson really opens up the offense. So you have someone with electric speed. If he would have ran the 40, it wouldn't surprise me if he ran the 4.2s. So you bring someone in who has the ability for defenses to have to respect the deep ball. And I know Jared Goff, it's been some years since he's really shown the ability to show off his arm, but now you have someone like Jameson who could take the top off of defenses, and it has to be even sweeter for Detroit fans because they traded up with the Vikings. So the Vikings are going to have to go against Jameson Williams for the next however many years and know they're the reason why Detroit had them. And if you look at what they gave up, they got picks 12 and 46, which is the second round pick. They gave up 32, 34, and 66. So they traded back in the second round and gave up an extra third round pick to move up 20 spots in the first round. To me, I thought they came away like bandits with that deal. I thought it was an easy trade, especially in division as well. Not in a million years would I do that trade with my division rival, knowing that I'm going to have to go up against Jameson Williams, especially with the Vikings who have struggled on defense over the last couple of years.
They have no secondary
at all. They drafted
respect Cam Dantzler.
I was going to say they drafted Lewisine.
I was going to say with the 32. He's a safety.
He's good though. He's really good.
He is good. And then lastly on Jameson Williams, I know everyone labels him as like the speed threat, but he's more than that. 84% of his yards, 85% of his yards came when he was deemed open by PFF. So it's not like he's this Henry Ruggs type of guy where everyone just thinks he's a vertical threat. He's a good route runner. He's great after the catch as well. So the 49ers, while we're deeming him as this vertical threat, he's going to be able to do things over the middle of the field as well. You're going to get him on screens and jet passes or jet handoffs, everything like that, and get him and use him in space because once you get the ball in his hands, might not be anyone in the NFL who's going to be able to catch up with him.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. The Vikings, I don't think... Look, I right now would have the Vikings winning the division.
Vikings should have stayed there and taken Jameson Williams.
That would have been nuts.
I would have either taken Kyle Hamilton or Trent McDuffie.
Yes, they needed secondary desperately, but with Thielen getting older, Jet is there, and we see the blueprint already. You add weapons to a squad, you get better.
But truth be told, it's like the Vikings. Offensively, they don't need anything. They're
offensive line maybe, but
yeah, but even then, you drafted Christian Darrisaw last season.
For sure.
Their offensive line got better.
Definitely.
Brad Berry's definitely the one there where you're like, okay, like you definitely need to upgrade that and add guard as well. But look at Minnesota. Their only needs are free safety.
Yep.
Because Harrison Smith is there, but they don't have free safety. Corner. They traded back, but they got Lewis Sin, who they wanted, who is...
He's a really good player.
He's really good. I mean, he's like a jet.
He started as a freshman at Georgia. That should tell you all you need to know.
And then at pick 34, they're going to go corner, I believe. It's either going to be corner or Malik Willis.
You think they go Booth?
I think it's a possibility they go Booth. So you get Andrew Booth. You have Patrick Peterson, who just came back. You also have Cameron Dantzler, who's not bad. Cameron Dantzler's an okay corner.
You think they should have taken Kyle Hamilton? I feel like they have Harrison Smith.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It would have been an upside pick.
I think
it would have been a Harrison Smith replacement
for sure.
But even Lewis Sin, between him and Kyle Hamilton, I know this can sound a little bit crazy, but for the value,
they do different things. Though.
For the value, I don't know if it's that far off. Like I think Lewis Sin is going to be a big time player.
Yes, I think it's pronounced Scene, but I'm pretty
Scene?
sure
Okay,
Lewis
Scene.
Scene, he's going to play more of a free safety role. He's going to be that single high safety because he has ridiculous speed. He's going to be able to play everything on the field, while Hamilton's going to play more of the strong safety role that Harrison Smith already does, defending the run, tight ends, stuff like that. So they're going to play different roles. So what they needed, and makes sense to trade back, but to drop 20 spots and really you're picking up an extra third, and it's your division rival who's getting a game breaker wide receiver. I mean, KVR obviously is a huge Vikings fan. He was distraught by what
Was he?
Yeah, he was. How can you?
I mean,
bro?
you go from 11. That's a primetime pick. This is a solid draft.
Yeah,
it definitely hurts.
It's rough, but I agree. I think Minnesota right now should be the favorite to win the division.
I looked at my tweets. I was looking back at my tweets, and I tweeted this last year before the draft, March 8th, 2021. I have this weird feeling that if Mac Jones is there at 10, the Dallas Cowboys will draft him. It didn't happen, but I thought it could happen. I wish it happened.
I actually really wanted Minnesota to take Jameson Williams. That would have been so elite.
It would have been very cool.
You think that if Garrett Wilson was on the board, so they actually go Garrett Wilson?
Instead of trading? Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to say yes just because you pair that with Jettas. You have two of those type of what's the word? Freestyle type wide receivers. Things get crazy over there.
You're talking about Jameson?
No, I'm talking
Wilson?
about Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense.
Also, when talking about this Mac Jones thing, I thought the Broncos were taking Micah.
I thought so too.
I thought you were taking Fields.
No, I thought we were. Me personally, I wanted Fields. In hindsight,
so when I was doing
I love you, George. I love you so much.
Sure,
So when I was doing my mock draft,
I would say Micah Parsons because we needed linebacker really badly. Even still, right now as we stand,
would you guys have used him though, like how Dallas did,
as a hybrid? After the trade, maybe with Von Miller getting traded, maybe we use him as a hybrid. But no doubt about it, to start the season, he's a linebacker. We needed it.
When I was doing my mock draft, I was under the assumption the Cowboys are going corner, or maybe they're just like, we're not going to pay Dak, we're going quarterback, we're going Mac Jones. If like in hindsight, obviously, if you guys do take Micah and the Cowboys pick is between corner or Mac Jones and don't pay Dak,
they wanted Surtain. We're the reason they traded back.
They paid Dak before the draft, though, didn't they?
They did, but that was March 8th, so it was well before the draft, too.
So, yeah, we're the reasons why Dallas decided to trade back
Dak.
with the
that
Eagles.
I tweeted that.
It would have made sense.
It would have. I hope it would have. I wish it would have happened. Mac Jones just feels like a Cowboy.
You think? He feels like a Patriot.
No, he's a Patriot.
He feels like a Patriot.
True.
He doesn't feel like Tony Romo?
He went to Alabama.
Don't ever.
Belichick.
He doesn't feel like Troy Aikman?
No.
Stop.
No,
he doesn't feel like Roger Staubach?
He's not prime time like that, bro.
This dude really said Roger Staubach. You could have stopped at Troy Aikman. That was bad enough.
Mac Jones. Mac sauce.
Mac Jones is about to be a all 100 type player.
I guess so.
He has a chance to.
He's not Roger Staubach. Stop.
It's not Tony Romo.
Bro,
no, not even close.
Quarterbacks now are so much better than quarterbacks then.
Roger Staubach. Stop talking.
Mac Jones will go back and kill that era.
Stop.
Is that not fact?
Statistically, sure,
Mac Jones will go back and kill that era.
It's different games, different eras.
Stop. We're talking about Roger Staubach.
They run the ball like 40 times a game.
If Mac Jones gets teleported to the 80s, they're looking to hit him like Joe Montana.
If Mac Jones playing against firemen and plumbers, he'd be killing it too.
Isn't it funny how for football nobody ever says that? But for basketball, that's something that gets used so much about like old time players.
No one talks. Yeah, like back in the 60s, no one talks about that.
No.
I just feel like because you're just such big. I mean, you're big guys too in the NBA as well. But like you have these 300-pound offensive linemen, defensive linemen now and in the 60s. It wasn't like it was anything that different.
Yeah, but they would have definitely saw Mac Jones like.
Imagine they saw Lamar.
Can we stop?
Oh my! Thought he was an alien, probably, bro. Like,
what is this wizardry?
They probably would have not even started him because they didn't know at the time like how to use those.
Oh no, he wouldn't have been a quarterback. No way. He would have been a running back.
A lot of prejudice against black quarterbacks in the past.
Sure.
I think Warren Moon was the one who like changed the narrative of that, and also
Doug Williams.
On Washington as well. Yeah. I think post 2010 is when, after Cam Newton got drafted, is when the perspective started to change.
Cam did break the mold for sure. Mike Vick for sure. Also, he was amazing in his time in Atlanta.
But then he got arrested.
Yeah. He was the first overall pick.
Yeah,
though.
And then Jamarcus Russell was a bust.
Yeah.
So that was before,
really damaged the image.
Jamarcus Russell definitely didn't benefit, but I will say Cam Newton, God bless him.
Cam Newton was a pioneer because then it was Cam Newton, then it was RG3, then it was Lamar Jackson. Russell Wilson in the third round.
Even Lamar got, I mean, he was the 32nd
Dak,
pick.
yep.
Even Lamar, who production-wise could have gone first if you just look at that. But yeah, he fell. I mean, Bill Polian said put him at receiver, right?
Yeah. Lamar should have, based on production, should have been a top 10
Lamar was too nice in the draft process. When they said that,
no one thought he could replicate what he did at Louisville. No one's like, he can't do this in the NFL against NFL opponents. No, he can. Like, when you're
Lamar.
that athletic, when you're that special,
on.
like, it's just going to happen. But we just hadn't seen it since Vic, really. Like, that style, at least.
I know what you're saying.
Man, breaking the mold. Teams that are breaking the mold of not being bad no more and making good moves. The Jets and Giants. We're going to do a segment about winners and losers, but for right now, we're going to talk about some individual teams, and now we're going to talk about the Jets and Giants because I think the city of New York, the tri-state area, should be feeling very ecstatic about how the Jets and Giants both drafted. I felt like for the first time in history, Jets and Giants came together
United.
like, hey, great pick. Yeah. Great. You guys did good too. We did too. We both did awesome. Giants and Jets fans have united.
Yeah.
Because we both have been through similar struggles since 2015. We know how it's like.
They showed that graphic. We were both have the worst record in the NFL, the Giants and the Jets. I didn't need to see that yesterday.
New York has been down bad.
Terribly.
Yankees and Mets.
Yeah, I would say Yankees and Mets are on the
carrying the boats in the love.
I tweeted actually, it's not a coincidence that the Mets are getting good, the best currently, and the Jets are now on the come up, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Giants, they drafted Kayvon Thibodeau, and it was a great pick because at 5, you get Kayvon. At 7, you're going to get one of the 3 offensive tackles.
Yeah. Question though, you said that? Did you think that if Kayvon's there at 6, they went Kayvon?
No.
So then that's what I was wondering. I just feel like either way they could have shaken it.
But either way, the reason why I disagree with that is because there's always a chance, and even if you don't take Kayvon, if you don't take the edge rusher there, the gap between Kayvon and Jermaine Johnson and Karlaftis, there's a gap there.
Huge.
But there's not a gap between Ickey and Neal, and I would even say Cross as a pass protector.
Okay.
So you can take Kayvon at 5. At 7, there's not that gap. Even if they take Ickey, we're fine with Neal. Like, it doesn't matter. I think Cross, it's kind of like, okay, you get into that muddy water, but there's less of a gap. So I thought they did a great job. And I think Joe Shane is already better than Dave Gettleman.
Oh, easily.
He made 2 great picks in his first picks, and you look at the Giants' offensive line. Andrew Thomas, Shane LeMahieu, John Feliciano playing center, Mark Glowinski, and Evan Neal. He's going to be the right tackle. Defensive line, Azeez Ojulari, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams can now be in the defensive tackle role, and Kayvon Thibodeau off the edge. They are building that core. They're building up the front line of their team right now with those personnel groupings. And I mean the Jets. Where do I even start?
Get your bag.
Sauce Gardner, the next Darrelle Revis. If he's not Darrelle Revis,
you can't put pressure like that on.
Bro, Darrelle Revis is like Darrelle Revis is the top 2 corner ever.
Sauce Gardner said, when I think of the Jets, I think of Darrelle.
I mean, who else are you going to think of?
This era of Jets fans, when they think of the Jets, they're going to think Sauce and Zach.
But you got to say this generation's like at the minimum, at the worst.
If he's not Darrelle, he's Antonio Cromartie, an All-Pro player.
I like
that's what he is.
That's a lot more fair. It's a lot more
reasonable. Like
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 1 and CB1, we drafted at 4 and 10. Then Jermaine Johnson at pick 26. Joe Douglas said these guys were in the top 8. And look, I love the Garrett Wilson and Sauce picks. I loved it. We were here. I wanted Sauce all along. The reason why I love the Jermaine Johnson pick more than both of them, I listened to their draft calls. I listened to their interviews. Jermaine Johnson, he in an interview was like, out of all the 30 teams I visited, the Jets were the team that I went there and I said, I want to go there. And he told Joe Douglas, come get me.
Real.
Come get me. I want to be a New York Jet.
Double J.
I want to be a Jet.
It just gives me goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Joe
there's
Douglas,
nothing that gets me more than draft videos after talking to their parents, crying, like,
Joe Douglas was trying to trade up for Jermaine Johnson since pick 16. Waited all the way to 26. Somehow, by a miracle of God, he was there.
There was a 1% chance he would drop past 20. And he was there at, 26, you said? That's crazy.
Joe Douglas, on the phone, tells Jermaine Johnson, you told me to come get you, and I went and got you.
That's hard.
And
man.
Jermaine Johnson's over there taking selfies with Jets fans, and he wants to be a Jet.
Yeah.
That's why I love the pick the most, because he wants to be a New York Jet. When do you hear that? Nobody says that. Nobody says I want to be a Jet. Nobody.
Not in 2022.
But Jermaine Johnson
Things
said
are changing.
that. And I had this idea that I want to get out right now, because have you guys noticed the trend? I think we are all starting to notice a trend. Joe Douglas fleeces teams in trade. First day of free agency this offseason, what happened? Everybody said the Jets won free agency. First day, no doubt about it. First day of the draft, what's everybody saying? The Jets won the NFL draft. Don't you guys notice there's a shift changing? Joe Douglas is turning around the Jets. Robert Saleh is turning around the Jets.
We've been here. Like, this isn't.
Drafting wide receiver 1, drafting CB1, drafting the top 5 edge at pick 26. I said it before, I'll say it again. The NFL isn't ready for the New York Jets in a good way. Jets fans are going to reap the benefits of it. We are no longer the laughingstock of the NFL. Joe Douglas, in JD we trust. It's as simple as that. Joe Douglas hasn't lost a trade yet. He's killing free agency. He kills the draft. The ignorant comments I see about it's the same old Jets. It's the same old Jets. That's so ignorant, because this is a new staff. This is a new coach. This is a new coaching staff. This is a new front office. These are new players. This is a new culture. God damn, we even got new uniforms. This is a new everything. This ship is turning around. It's as simple as that. The same way we talk about the Bills now is how we'll talk about the New York Jets in 2 to 3 years. Bank on it. Bank on it. All it took for the Bills was to get Joe Shane. Not Joe Shane. All it took for the Bills was to get Brandon Beane. They figured out the GM. They figured out the coach in Sean McDermott, and they turned around. The Jets figured out the GM in Joe Douglas. They figured out the coach in Robert Saleh. Now it's turning around, and we are going to see the Zach Wilson year 2 leap, and then people are going to start believing. Get your tickets now. Nobody's on the ship after this year.
Hop aboard.
Nobody's on the ship after the first game starts. I will give everybody a chance to start believing in the Jets now, and I won't penalize you for it. Once week 1 starts,
it's over.
You're a goner. You're on the outside the club looking in. That's it.
Yeah.
The Jets are here.
Yes,
the time is now.
Yes, sir.
The time is now.
Sir.
The time is now.
Oh, man. You got to love it. And someone tweeted, it might have been someone from PFF. They're like, I'm shocked the Jets have such professionalism and like continuity. Like, it is true, though, because we've gone through some terrible GMs with McCagnon and Idzik and like legitimately some of the worst GMs in the NFL. I'm going to pick the Jets, obviously having the best draft, but I want to give the Giants their flowers because I've been someone who shit on the Giants, especially early on when I first started coming on here. I didn't like the Saquon pick, and I didn't believe they should be paying him, and I don't like Daniel Jones. But I have loved what they've done so far this offseason. I mean, it started hiring Brian Dable and Shane as well. I mean, that's starting those guys from Buffalo, getting them over here, bringing in the new culture, really setting the foundation they want to set. And it doesn't take much. If you're a Giants fan, it cannot take much to believe in Joe Shane, right? When you go back and see what Dave Gettleman did with listen, I think Kadarius Toney's a really good player, but there's already talks about him potentially being traded. He was their first-round pick in 2021. Andrew Thomas is really their only building block in 2020. They had 3 firsts in 2019. It was Daniel Jones, Dexter Lawrence, and DeAndre Baker. There's a good chance 2 of those 3 guys are gone by next season. Obviously, Baker's already gone. And in 2018, his first pick was Saquon Barkley at number 2 overall, who's a great player, but once again, it's a running back. You're probably not building your team around him, especially because Saquon hasn't been able to stay healthy for multiple seasons now. And Joe Shane hit 2 home runs in this draft. Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau really building the trenches, just like Joe Douglas did when he drafted Mekhi Becton his first season there. Getting a pass rusher that they desperately needed. Azeez Ojulari put up some really good numbers. I want to say at 8 sacks his rookie season. Now you have Kayvon there, and all these character concerns. Like, did you see Kayvon Thibodeau with the Make-A-Wish kid get lit with him? Like, that should put everything to rest about what you say about Kayvon Thibodeau.
Did you see the video of he was at a press conference after he got drafted, and he was telling the story of how he met Saquon and Daniel Jones. This how he did it exactly. He sees Saquon come up to him and say, "What's up?" He says, "What's up?" to Saquon, and then he's like, then I just see this regular looking dude,
this average guy,
and he's like, "Hey, I'm Daniel," and then he's like, Daniel Jones?
He took the glasses off. Yeah,
He's funny. Like, Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
Everybody, Giants Twitter, because I know I follow some people that are part of Giants Twitter. They were like, why is Kayvon acting like Daniel Jones is like somebody? He's like, Daniel Jones?
I saw Daniel Jones out in Hoboken last weekend.
For real?
Yeah, he sat I was out and he was sat right next to me actually. I was like, yo, is that Daniel Jones? Am I bugging? It was him.
Did you do what Kayvon did?
No, I didn't say anything. Jones? But I was talking to one of my friends who lives in Hoboken. He said he sees him out there pretty often.
I wish you would have said something to him. He recognized you from the podcast, and he just open hand smacks you.
I'm not disrespectful to Daniel Jones. I just don't think he's a franchise guy.
Whatever.
But let's get into the Jets because
the Bucks the draft is going on now. The Bucks selected Logan Hall with the 33rd pick. Yep.
Yeah. Let's get into the Jets, right? We gave the Giants their flowers. I love the direction they're heading, building the trenches with Evan Neal, who's going to play right tackle, or if Andrew Thomas gets hurt or whatever, he gets started to left tackle too. But the Jets, oh man, the Jets. Oh jeez. This is the first time in a couple of years that we didn't really know what they were doing. We knew about Quinnen, we knew about Zach. This is the first time we're at 4, we didn't really know which way they were going to go, right? I wanted Kayvon. I thought he was a great pick, but getting Sauce, I wasn't mad with at all. We know about his stats. Only allowed 130 yards this past season, no touchdowns in college. But the most important thing that Sauce brings to this team, he brings the swagger back. The moxie, the confidence, something that for whatever Jamal Adams, how much we shit on him, the one thing that left the building was the swag that he brings day in and day out to this organization. And Sauce comes in and immediately rejuvenates that room. Bryce Hall, DJ Reed, Michael Carter II, they're really good players.
Brennan Eccles.
But they don't bring that confidence and swagger that Sauce is going to bring to this cornerback room. We already know how lit Robert Saleh gets when he's just talking on the phone and on Sunday on the sidelines. Sauce comes in and brings that confidence that this DB room desperately needs. Now you pair him with Whitehead, who we just signed, DJ Reed. We have the corners and the DBs available to go up against these really good wide receivers with the Tyreek Hills, Waddles, Stephon Diggs just in our own division, let alone the Jamar Chases and everyone else who's in the AFC. So they have all the corners because the receivers are getting paid crazy. So the Jets said, you know what, let's go get the corners who could stop these receivers or at least limit them as much as they can. And then they paired that up with going and getting Jermaine Johnson, getting a guy that could get after the quarterback. At number 4, I thought it was ludicrous to take Jermaine Johnson. He's a JUCO guy. He only played really one full season of...
And over Kayvon, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, he played one full season of Division I football. He kind of was a rotational player at Georgia the year before, but one full season where he was dominant at Florida State, don't get me wrong, but he's also a bit older.
That would have been a Jets pick.
That would have been a terrible pick.
Historically Jets pick.
That would have been a terrible pick.
But you know why that's different now in 2022? Because of Joe Douglas.
Yeah. But Jermaine Johnson trading up, and we really didn't give up a ton to move up. I mean, I think we gave up, all in all, an extra 3rd round pick, maybe 2nd.
It was.
Yeah, because we only have 36 now, not 38. But yeah, we traded up, obviously, to the 26. And then lastly, Garrett Wilson. I mean, he was my wide receiver, too. I knew Treylon Burks was never going to go top 10. So if you really want to talk about Garrett Wilson was probably my most realistic position in terms of my receivers I like the most for the Jets at 10, even though, like I mentioned, I thought Jameson fit what they needed more. But you have Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. Those are 2 of the best young separators in the NFL. It's going to make life so easy for Zach Wilson. These guys are just going to be open all the damn time. You just got to find
Garrett
him,
Wilson's
hit the ball.
A+ draft.
Yeah, for sure. Swag. And he has 4.3 speed. He's someone that has wide receiver 1 capabilities with Elijah Moore, great route runner. And
you know what I loved most about the draft?
What?
Zach Wilson recording every pick and welcoming the guys.
Yeah. That's lit. He said, what's better than 1 Wilson's 2 Wilsons?
I don't know where I heard this report. I seen it on Twitter that Zach Wilson has been already bothering Garrett Wilson to start throwing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And it's already been bothering him.
And then when you look at, I'm trying to find my tweet about.
It's just now, you look at the Jets, we're going from Bryce Hall and Michael Carter II are now CB3 or CB4.
Yeah, I have actually a tweet from Michael Nania, who was on the show a couple weeks ago. In 2019, our cornerback room was Dale Roberts, Nate Hairston, Bless Austin, Tremaine Johnson, Maurice Candy. Now it's Sauce, DJ Reed, Bryce Hall, Michael Carter. And then you look at the wide receiver room. We have Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios. This has really never been a time where it's been this deep, talented, and young. We're building a team that could compete now and into the future. I don't think they're a championship team this year, but the way they're building, and they still have one of the best.
Are you guys
GMs.
the Bengals this year?
We might be. You never know. Crazier things have happened, like the Bengals.
That's true.
If Zach could take that leap, into being a top 10 to 12 quarterback,
you have to be healthy also. You have to be healthy. Health always plays a factor.
We could be a borderline playoff team.
And I think you said it very perfectly, and something that stuck out to me with what you were talking about as well. You said we're going to be the Bills in a couple of years.
Christian Watson to the Packers, 34.
I love that. I love that pick because that should have been the pick where they took.
Did they trade up to 34?
They must have.
Yeah, because that's the Vikings pick.
Okay.
They must have, because I would have liked them to take Christian Watson with the pick that they took Wyatt. So for them to get Christian Watson as well,
very nice.
Now I like that move a lot.
Yeah,
now to talk. Go ahead.
Now, you could go first, and then we'll talk about it.
So
after.
something that you said that really stuck out to me, that the Jets are going to be the Bills, and the Bills figured it out, and it started with their GM. It started once Josh Allen turned into Josh Allen. Once Josh Allen reached, he started to ascend.
Getting Diggs is what unlocked
Once
him.
Josh Allen turned into a top 3 quarterback, we started to see the Bills take a different trajectory.
They made the playoffs with Allen being mediocre.
No, they made the playoffs. No doubt.
They started to take the turn because the defense became elite.
But they took that next level jump because Josh Allen.
That's what made them title contenders.
But they didn't become relevant.
Can I finish? Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ! Now you want this jump from the Jets. You have the talent around it for sure, but it all starts with Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson can take that leap in year 2 that we are projecting him, I'm a believer in. Yeah, for real, you jumped down my throat. I'm not slandering.
Pause.
That's a saying. All right,
bro said you jumped down my throat.
That's a saying.
Yeah,
unbelievable. You're a sicko.
I bet you love that.
But that's crude. That's crude. But I'm a believer in Zach too. I'm not hating on him. We're projecting Zach to play a lot better than he did in year 1. He was solid down the stretch in year 1, started off shaky. But if he takes that leap that we're projecting in year 2, the Jets can be exciting. But it is beginning and ending with Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson takes the leap, you guys will be lit. But if Zach Wilson kind of stalls in year 2 and we are now banking on year 3 Zach Wilson, then we start to become a little bit hesitant and a little bit worrisome. It all begins with Zach Wilson. Now for the draft, 100%. I don't want to reiterate too much. Everyone's saying it because it's a fact. The Jets won the draft. They had the best performance to get Sauce Gardner. Me personally, I'm one of the few that I am fine with Derek Stingley going before Sauce. Personally, I like Derek Stingley a little bit more in coverage, his speed. I like Derek Stingley. So to get Sauce at 4 regardless, if you guys believe that he's the best corner, for me personally, he's number 2, and even still, Sauce is going to be great. At 10, to get the wide receiver 1, in your guys' opinion, my wide receiver 2, you can't ask for anything better. For him to fall to 10 was very fortunate for you guys. And to pair that with Zach Wilson to aid his development as well, you get him a true X on the outside. You can't ask for anything more if you're Zach Wilson. And then to top it all off, to come back at the end of the draft and finally secure your one of your biggest needs going into the draft with Jermaine Johnson, because I was under the same belief as you. I would have liked Kayvon at 4. But now that pick is justified taking Sauce because you traded back into the first round to get Jermaine Johnson. Now you answered, you needed a little bit of secondary help, you got it with Sauce.
Oh, Jets just traded up to 36.
They're getting Nakobe Dean. I don't know for sure.
We picked at 38, though. Why are we going to trade up just to jump the Giants and Texans to get Dean?
Yeah,
and
maybe
also
Dean.
Texans could have probably wanted Dean. And
I'm saying
Giants also
my
could
prediction is this is Nakobe Dean.
So I forgot what I was saying.
Which makes the draft even better.
We gave up 38 and 146 for 36. Let's see what we got.
So yes.
Oh wow, we took Breece Hall.
Nice.
We took Breece Hall.
Damn, that kind of hurts because I like Mike Carter a lot, but that is cool. Joe Douglas is going all in on Zach. He's going all in on Zach.
Breece
You have to.
Hall
I'm
is
shocked.
crazy.
I'm shocked.
I'm not that shocked, bro. I told you Mike Carter's not a.
Mike Carter's good though.
We have
Breece can do
holes.
everything. Breece can do everything.
I know.
But
And
he's bigger. He's not-
stronger. He can block
He's
better.
He's better.
But
Yes.
Mike Carter is a complimentary back.
He is. I'm sad because Alvaro's been asking me all week, do you think they take Breece Hall? I'm like, no, they're not taking Breece Hall, bro. And I've been telling him the whole time they're not taking Breece Hall.
Do you understand what we're doing?
Is he
right
still
now?
the first running back
Hall?
dynasty?
You guys see where Walker goes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
wow, Breece Hall.
So yes, like I was saying, you needed a secondary help. You go and you get Sauce. You needed wide receiver help. You go and you get arguably the best wide receiver in the draft. You needed edge rusher help, in my opinion, more than anything. And you go and you get Jermaine Johnson at the end. I think it was a great draft by them. And to wrap it up with the Giants, what's there to really say? You needed an edge rusher desperately. You go and you get arguably the best pass rusher in the draft in Kayvon Thibodeau. Me personally, I never wanted to hear this outside noise that he's not a good fit. When you have a certain type of cockiness, and cockiness, in my opinion, I don't really like that word. I like confidence. Mm-hmm. Because when you're confident, and sometimes you are overly confident, some teams don't like that. But when you believe in yourself and you really think that you are who you believe you are, that is never a negative for me. And Kayvon Thibodeau exudes that, and that's why I do believe he's going to be an elite level pass rusher in this league. And now Evan Neal excellent pick. Probably the best tackle in this draft. And to wait till 7 to get him, you lock up that right tackle spot. And Andrew Thomas struggled with injury last season. Let's say
he didn't.
He missed some games early last season.
Nah, but he was healthy.
He came back. Yeah, yes, but there is the injury concern. So let's say that Andrew Thomas. What's going on with you? Can I finish the statement?
You're giving false information.
It's not false. Andrew Thomas missed games. Anyways, let's say, God forbid, Andrew Thomas does go down. Evan Neal can come right in and fill that left tackle spot.
Yeah, he played 13 games, bro.
So he missed
4 games. 4.
Okay.
You said he struggled with injury last season. He was great last year.
He missed 4. He was really solid.
He's Andrew Thomas's #1 fan.
I know, but Andrew Thomas was great last year.
He was really good, but let's say there's that chance that he misses some time. Evan Neal comes in and fills. Regardless of how you want to shake it, it was an excellent pick by them. They had a home run draft, and I'm looking at the Jets as the best of the night for sure, but right after them, I'm looking at the Giants.
Damn, Breeze Hall.
Yeah, it's the crib.
This is Kayvon's quote, by the way. I'm going to play it.
Here we go.
I don't know why it's taking so long to load.
Oh, man.
Alfred texts me, fuck,
okay, this is what it is.
Why?
Can you hear it?
When I went there, Sky walks up to me, I'm sitting in the locker room, I'm getting ready to do this, some physical, not just examination. And kid walks up, he's like, not kid, this man walks up and he's like, hey, I'm Saquon, what's good with you? I'm on my phone, look, I'm like, this is Saquon Barkley, you know what I mean? Then look, it make it even more funny, I'm talking to Saquon. Guy walks up to me, just average. He looks so average. He's like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? I'm Daniel. Daniel Jones?
What's up, man? I'm Daniel.
He mentioned Daniel Jones like he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yo.
Daniel Jones. That's hilarious. Oh, man. I'm sorry, man. We got some tension right there.
Not even. You got to just let me talk because I know what I'm talking about.
Nah, the Andrew Thomas one was crazy.
What do you mean crazy? Your definition of crazy is
when you say somebody missed time with injury.
I said he struggled. Yes, he did.
He didn't struggle though. Struggle is like you missed half the season.
And his first year, he definitely was shaky. Also,
his first year he struggled for sure, but he played every game. But he struggled. But his second year, this past season,
he was amazing,
great.
And
he was great.
I've been on record constantly saying the offensive line's different when Andrew Thomas is in.
I know, but you didn't say you right there.
He missed
you didn't
4
say
games.
He was great.
That's
people.
Nothing.
People
People look at Dalvin and say, because yes, Dalvin does have injury history too, but off last season they're saying that he struggled to stay on the field and he missed 4 games. So on to the next topic, please. We were on the Jets and Giants for a while.
Yeah.
Damn.
You're hype?
I'm gassed.
I would be
Breece
too.
Hall's a dog.
No, Breece Hall's an amazing pick.
And we know how, LaFleur, they use their running backs.
Who'd you jump in front
of? Houston and the Giants. Well, really just Houston.
I don't think that either of them would have taken
Neither
Breece.
do I. What I think is there was probably another team trying to trade up.
Okay.
So the Jets said, you know what, we'll give you 146.
I'll be honest, though. I think even with
I mean, Houston, I know they signed Marlon Mack, but is that...
No, Houston could have taken Breece, but they have other needs than running back right now.
I mean, the thing about the Jets is that
took Jalen Petrie.
There's more depth at linebacker in this draft.
Booth hasn't gotten taken yet?
Nope. Yeah, there's a lot of linebackers in this
even
draft.
with no Nakobe Dean, we can go like Neo Chanel. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but we can go that route. So, I mean, we're good. I mean, we're talking about the Jets draft now. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall.
Troy Anderson, someone I like too a lot from Montana State.
The Jets offense looks completely different this year now. Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah, improved offensive line, Breece Hall. I mean, come on. This is an A+ draft for the Jets so far.
Killing it.
A+. Now, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, listen, I love this. I love what the Jets are doing. I've heard... We talked about this on the car ride. The Jets have won off seasons. They've won drafts. They won free agent season. This is great. It's great to be excited in April and May. But now's the time. Now's the time they got to go and start winning games because you can win as many off season drafts as you want. But if you're not winning, if you keep winning 3-4 games, I don't give a damn. It's time for the Jets to go, Zach Wilson to step up, and this team to take a step because they have to be competitive now. No excuses.
And we were talking. It seemed as I got a vibe from you that you weren't overly happy from some of your draft picks, but if that's the mindset you want to take, I'm with you.
Because
I'm 100%
I'm over winning the offseason. We've won the offseason a lot in my life.
No, I don't think so.
I remember the Le'Veon Bell year, CJ Mosley year. We won that offseason.
You did.
That was the one that we won. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that's like you're talking about 1 out of 10 years.
There's been times before that too. where the
When?
Jets have had good off seasons.
Not
This past
like
off
this.
season, everyone loved our draft. We won 3-4 games.
The last time we had an offseason like
True.
this,
Everyone
Everyone
love the draft.
loved the draft.
the only two offseasons I remember was that one talking about the Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, the excitement was through the roof.
Last year,
And
debatably.
2015 when we got Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, but we were 10.
Y'all were nice.
We were
Y'all were
saying.
nice.
I have not seen. This is different.
I'm saying we've won off season, we've won days, we've won free agency periods. Now it's time to win.
So the Jets' next pick is in the 3rd round, but the 30 set it's in the bot. It's a compensatory pick. The 32nd pick in the 3rd round, which
Ooh,
is
the Falcons just traded up to
compensatory.
38. Giants moved back twice.
Yeah.
Is this
Man, you
Malik?
gotta come on. You gotta
Of course I'm
exude
excited.
more
Definitely
excitement.
Of course I'm
Malik.
excited.
Exude more excitement.
I am.
Kiss me, brother.
They took Arnold Abakady.
How are you
edge
getting this
rusher.
so
good.
fast? ESPN is slacking.
I'm on PFF.
I'm actually
Well,
on.
that's my fault.
I'm
That's my
actually
fault.
I'm on NFL Draft Tracker.
PFF is doing this fast as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
If we are live reacting to these round 2 picks, we aren't going to finish the show. So
Yeah, facts.
let's talk about some big time wide receiver trades. AJ Brown got traded, and the Eagles also drafted Jordan Davis. AJ Brown went to the Eagles. The Eagles sent pick 16, 124, and 162, and 166 for pick 13. And the Titans traded AJ Brown for the 18th pick and the 101 overall pick. I might have got that wrong. The Eagles sent pick 15, 124, 162, and 166 for Jordan Davis, but they also sent pick 18 and 101 for AJ Brown. So basically, the Eagles traded 2 of the first round picks for AJ Brown and Jordan Davis. And then the Titans selected Treylon Burks. We'll talk about the Eagles first, and you can talk about Treylon Burks. I know that's your guy with the Titans. This is a big time move. And now that the
Crazy.
AJ Brown is on the Eagles, does this make them by far the favorites to win the NFC East now?
By far the favorites. I'm not going to go that far. You always have to respect Dallas and what they do over there. I do believe that it does make them the favorites, but I'm not taking them as the overwhelming without a doubt. Still need to see how things go and break the Cowboys' way. But as of right now, yes, Eagles are extremely exciting. They have a solid offensive line. Jalen Hurts showed that he could be a serviceable quarterback and then some, especially with his legs. But what we need to see from Jalen Hurts is his ability to throw the football accurately and down the field consistently. You bring in A.J. Brown, and this also unlocks another avenue to their offense where now A.J. Brown is one of the better gadget guys is a disrespectful word to use, but I feel like it definitely encompasses what A.J. Brown's abilities can do because he can do everything. I mean gadget guy in the best way possible. I know we have had conversations about that term gadget guy, but A.J. Brown can do legitimately everything at the wide receiver position. Can take a quick a flat to the crib. He has those that breakaway abilities, a slant to the crib. He has the over top abilities. He can come out of the backfield, take a handoff, can take a wide receiver screen. That's the word I was looking for. My God. A.J. Brown is like that. It's just a matter of being able to stay on the field consistently. When he's on the field, he is one of the most exciting wide receivers in the NFL. And you pair that with Devonta Smith, this is a strong wide receiver duo. Now it starts to become predicated all on Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts can take a strong leap in his development this season, the Eagles will really be overwhelming favorites to win the division. And then we can start getting into the conversations of can they really compete to make a Super Bowl run? But it's all predicated on Jalen Hurts and his ability to progress as a passer. Now, in terms for Tennessee, I love the move. I absolutely love the move. And I know that you see a name like A.J. Brown traded, and with the Titans, who are to a degree lacking at the wide receiver position, they still have Robert Woods. But for them to trade to that pick and then take A.J. Brown, Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks is basically A.J. Brown. Just we need to see it in the NFL first. I love the move. It was very lateral for the Titans, and now instead of paying A.J. Brown $25 million a season, now you're paying Treylon Burks rookie money, and you can't beat it.
Bears took Kyler Gordon. Please free Justin Fields. He has no receivers. But yeah, moving on. A.J. Brown. This is phenomenal. You guys know I love Jalen Hurts. I love A.J. Brown. So I'm a huge Eagles fan going into this season. And it makes sense. I mean, first of all, I don't know if you guys saw the offer Tennessee made A.J. Brown. They offered him $16 million a year.
A.J. Brown should have went into the front office And yeah, exactly.
It said this. Like, bro, what is wrong with you? $16 million a year is disrespectful.
Christian Kirk just got 18.
Like, you're paying him $16 million years. That's like the 40th best receiver you're basically paying him as, the numbers that they're getting. But I mean, the Eagles had one of the best nights of the year. On top of my 3 winners, we'll get into that later, but they were one of my winners in this offseason or this draft. Because getting A.J. Brown, it just complements Devontae Smith perfectly, I think. You have Devontae Smith, who's more of that natural route runner. He's 6 foot, 170 pounds, more of the slender guy. He's still led the team in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns last year. And now you bring in A.J. Brown, who is one of the best yak receivers in the NFL, one of the best contested catch receivers in the NFL. As you mentioned, he could take any catch and take it to the crib. Doesn't matter if it's 20 yards out or 80 yards out. He has that type of game-breaking speed with someone who's still 6'1", 220 pounds, and is still 24 years old. I mean, that's still insanely young. There's some people in this draft at the start of the season who's going to be 24 years old. So you get A.J. Brown, and you also pay him 4 years, $100 million, 51 guaranteed, 57, something like that. You're paying him $25 million a year, which is sure, it's a lot, but you're not breaking the bank to sign him. You're not giving him $30+ million. It's a very reasonable contract. And I tweeted it out. Some front offices are just better than others. The Cardinals traded the 23rd pick for Hollywood Brown, who I like, but I look at him as just a high upside wide receiver too, while A.J. Brown is an alpha number 1 wide receiver who they traded the 18th overall pick for. So it makes a ton of sense. Also, you got to remember, Nick Sirianni came from Indy, so he played A.J. Brown a ton when he was the offensive coordinator there. He knows how to use him. He knows his skill set, how best to utilize him in this offense, because I just think of all the ways they could use him. And I understand that people have their doubts about Jalen Hurts, but you're not going out trading for A.J. Brown, giving him $100 million, and expecting them to still run the ball the most in the entire NFL. I think they're going to open the playbook up a bit more for Jalen Hurts, throw the ball, because I just can't imagine you make this deal without having, the idea that Jalen Hurts can progress as a passer, which obviously you guys know I think he can be. I think he could be the future franchise quarterback of this team. And then lastly, Jordan Davis, physical freak. We already know what this guy did at the combine, running a 4.8 at 340 pounds at 32-inch vertical. I mean, just some stuff that we might never see again from a guy at this size. His one, I guess he has a couple concerns, but his main concern is, can he be a full-time player in the NFL? At Georgia, he really didn't play a ton. He had nearly 400 snaps in 2021. To compare that, Hutchinson had over 700, so he's playing about half the normal snaps. Some of that could be contributed to Georgia has an incredible team. Some of it could be, Georgia blows out teams every week, so he doesn't have to play in fourth quarters of a lot of games. But you have him being able to learn from Fletcher Cox and the interior defensive line. That's going to be a scary sight for the NFC East opponents, the NFC East, or the NFC in general. Because Jordan Davis, if he could hit his peak, he's going to come and he's going to be a great run defender week 1, day 1. But if he's able to really develop into a great pass rusher, then we could talk about him being one of the best interior defensive linemen in the NFL.
It's clear that you have a Jalen Hurts agenda. It's clear that you're high on Jalen Hurts.
You think he can progress as a passer?
Yeah.
Like confidently?
Yeah.
I worry.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but even with you being high on Jalen Hurts, what did you expect out of the Eagles this past season?
You're saying like
in the offseason, like what do you
like
think
this time last year?
Are you about to take a victory lap?
Yes,
I
am.
Yeah, I mean, borderline playoffs.
Seriously?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
they were borderline.
Nah,
playoffs.
I believe him.
Yeah.
Okay, if you think that I believe you, if you say that I believe you, I'll just say this.
I definitely did not have them as a playoff team.
I am taking my victory lap.
Go ahead, man.
Because when I talked about the Eagles on the
Just knew that's
TikTok
where you were
video last night, somebody was like, "Oh, it's one of the first takes you had."
He said one of the best. He didn't slander you.
He said one of the best takes I've heard, but he meant it in a way like I haven't had good ones. But
you gotta start being like, yeah, all right, thank you, appreciate that.
With the Eagles, I've been high on them since last offseason. Sure. They were my surprise team of the NFL in 2021. They made the playoffs. When everybody projected the Eagles to win 4 to 6 games, I said, hold up. Are we paying attention to the moves that they're making? They're a playoff team. Now, they got A.J. Brown? What? Are you kidding me? The Eagles had the number 1 rushing attack in the NFL this past season. We all knew that what they're lacking is wide receiver. They fixed that problem with Devontae Smith. But now they glued that problem up completely with A.J. Brown. I mean, these are 2 guys who are wide receiver number 1s.
Easily.
Devontae Smith has that type of upside. Dallas Goedert, top 6 tight end. They have a good running back committee. Jalen Hurts, I'm not the biggest believer in him as a passer, but he can win games.
He can.
The Eagles are easily winning the NFC East. There's not a discussion here. They're easily winning the NFC East.
The Cowboys got worse.
They did, but
The Cowboys
Dak's gonna
got
take some more responsibility because he hears the chatter.
Sorry, say that again?
Dak, he's hearing the chatter, the disrespect, that Mac Jones should have been taken to
you think
replace
Dak
him.
checks in?
He's hearing the
Pick a
chatter.
side?
He's hearing the chatter.
tough.
I'm giving an example just in our circle.
doesn't
right
matter.
Here. He's hearing the chatter. Dak's coming crazy.
He's been hearing the chatter for how many years now? He hasn't done nothing. I don't care.
That's not nothing.
Dallas,
That's so strong.
Just the playoff.
Dallas got worse.
debatably too.
Dallas got worse. Washington,
He should have beat San Fran. That's it.
Dallas got worse. Washington, I don't trust Wentz.
Agreed.
And the Giants, they're trending upwards, but they're not there yet. The Eagles are here
Please,
right
make my
now.
day. Make my day.
Sleepers. They're sleepers.
AJ Brown said it's not his fault that he left. They lowballed him on the offer.
He's 100%
I thought
right.
this was a reasonable deal that the Eagles got with AJ Brown, 4 years, $25 million each year. There are some injury concerns here. You know, he's not always the healthiest, but when he plays, he is really good. 869 yards, 5 touchdowns in 13 games. That's elite production. When talking about Jordan Davis, I don't care that he only played 38% of snaps on Georgia's defense last season. The reason why I don't care about that is because he's going to have a similar role on the Eagles. Last year, going into the season, I said, wait, hold up. The Eagles' defensive line is top 10. They have 7 quality defensive linemen. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, now Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, Hassan Reddick signing him. Those are 7 quality defensive linemen they can rotate in and out. They're always going to have fresh bodies. The secondary isn't that horrible. Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox is okay. They signed Kaiser White to be a linebacker. That feels that need at linebacker. The Eagles are the most complete team in the NFC East. They're the best team in the NFC East. They can take a big-time jump if Jalen Hurts takes a big-time jump.
I'm with you.
And Jalen Hurts has progressed every season. But even if you believe that Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, which most people do.
I think everyone.
Well, yeah, everybody believes he's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Even though the Cowboys have the best quarterback in the division, it's not going to matter because the Eagles have the most complete roster in the division. And there's not a gigantic gap between Dak and Jalen Hurts. There's just not. Especially what I'm
This is
expecting
rich
Hurts to
coming
be
from
in
you.
year 3. I like Jalen Hurts.
You're not
Do
Hurts? You're not Hurts?
I've always said I like Jalen Hurts.
Come on.
Always?
Yeah, I never said I didn't. I don't think you could be
You
a
just
franchise
flop.
quarterback. No, there's a difference. Just because I like somebody doesn't mean I think he's a franchise quarterback.
Franchise quarterback.
But I remember when we've done segments on this Alabama crop of quarterbacks, I've always had Tua last. Let's not forget that. Hurts has
That's
always
not
been
something to brag about, King.
Well, I think Mac Jones is a franchise quarterback. So I think Jalen Hurts is not far off. He's not a franchise guy, but Jalen Hurts
not far off at all from Mac Jones. Not at all.
but Jalen Hurts can win you football games. And
He's a winner, man.
And
but then
what
I
he
say that
lacks,
about Tua, right? It's not cute. It's not winning side.
and what he
He wins.
lacks
There it
in
is.
the off-platform throws, Jalen Hurts does, and the accuracy and the arm strength at times, he makes up for his running ability, and most importantly, his leadership
Without
and
a
the
doubt.
intangibles.
He's one of the best
Swag.
leaders in the league.
Handsome.
He is.
God. You go on and on.
Good
So
looking man.
Jalen Hurts' ceiling isn't tremendous, but you can win games with him. And last year
What's
I
his
said
ceiling?
13, 15
I
best
was
quarterback in
thinking
the NFL.
the number 12 came to my head, so I don't.
And last year I said when I talked about the Eagles make the playoffs, I was like, Hurts is going to be anywhere
18.
between 18 to 20. I said he'll be a top 18 quarterback. So him making the jump from 18 to now 15 this year, Dak is what, the 11th, 12th? 15 to 11th and 12th is not a big gap. It's just not. Because of that, I like the Eagles. They're going to win the NFC East easily, in my opinion. And even when we talk about their offense, you know, we talked about Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, but they also signed Zach Pascal from Indianapolis. Nick Sirianni coached him. He's a good player to add for depth. Quez Watkins, too. They have pieces there. Jalen Reagor, who knows, but he might get traded.
Might get
Maybe,
released.
but maybe, yeah, really.
Released or traded probably. I think he deleted some stuff on his IG about like the Eagles stuff. Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown are boys too. They were working out together a couple weeks ago.
I mean, Jalen Reagor as a wide receiver 3, I don't absolutely hate. It
He's
just
gonna
must
be
be
the
that
wide
Quez
receiver
Watkins facts.
Watkins and Pascal
Yeah.
are gonna be over him.
I
And
forgot
Goddard.
they got
I mean, he's
Pascal.
their seventh option.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably.
Definitely.
So it's a miss.
It's Eagles time.
Don't sleep on the Giants.
I will sleep on the Giants.
Don't do it.
I will. I love the direction they're headed in. Love it, but they're not here yet.
Declining Daniel's 5th-year option, mistake.
Was it?
Because when Daniel tweaks this year and they have to give him a real contract, they're going to be sick. True.
They can say, okay, do it again.
True.
They'll probably save more money by
franchising
him or giving him a contract.
Franchising me more.
If he goes off this season, somewhere he goes off. Say he throws 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, right? Let's say that he does that.
What, 25 fumbles?
That's so. You know what's crazy too? Like the interception numbers aren't insane. The fumbles are insane. They're the ones that you don't see on the stat sheet. You really got to look and see. That is the crazy part.
Boy Mafe to the
I
Seahawks.
hate this pick unless they go Malik right now. But go ahead. Let's go to the next topic.
It wasn't the best day. I guess it was a good day for receivers named Brown. Hollywood Brown.
It was an amazing day. Are you kidding me?
Gets traded to the Arizona Cardinals. So
Tragic.
The Ravens traded Hollywood Brown and pick 100 to the Cardinals for the 23rd overall pick. And then they used that pick, the Ravens did, to go trade back and then select Tyler Linderbaum at 25. So I think both teams came out feeling pretty okay about this. Eric DeCosta said that Hollywood Brown requested a trade after the season, and he's been disgruntled for a long time. He doesn't think the offense is a fit for him. And even on Sirius XM radio, on Mad Dog Radio, he said, Hollywood Brown said this, I talked to Lamar about it after my second year and then after my third year leading up to the end of the season. You know, he wasn't playing. I let him know again, like, yeah, bro, I can't do it. You know, it's not really on Lamar. I love Lamar. It was just, it's just the system just wasn't for me personally. I love all my teammates. I love the guys. It was just something I had to think about for myself. So here, it sounds like to me he's blaming the system. It wasn't a good fit, which makes sense because Greg Roman is a run-heavy offense. He's asked to block a lot. It's not an air raid system like what he came out of in college. What do you think about this trade? I know you two are big Kyler Murray fans, and under that assumption, I'm assuming you've loved Kyler Murray not only since the NFL, but since Oklahoma. And the last time Kyler Murray was at Oklahoma, Hollywood Brown had 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. So this reunion with Kyler, what are your thoughts? And I think it's kind of a coincidence as well, because not too long ago we were debating who has the better weapons between the Cardinals and the Ravens.
Full circle.
And now a guy who at the time you picked the Ravens had a better weapons group because you were high on Hollywood. I'm not as high on Hollywood, but I'm curious to know what you think now that he is in a system that fits him better, and he is with his college quarterback, and he is with a quarterback you believe is better in Kyler Murray.
It is crazy how the world works sometimes. For Hollywood Brown to get traded to Arizona is an unbelievably great move for Arizona. To pair him next to DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to see single coverage. And Hollywood Brown on single coverage with Kyler Murray as his quarterback is going to be electric. He is going to be a big play machine in 2022.
Kenneth Walker to Seattle. Interesting.
Wow.
Kenneth Walker.
Wow. And I know why, because Chris Carson's never going to play ball again. I like it. I'm shocked. Malik made so much sense.
Colts here, George Pickens or Malik Willis?
They need a receiver. Pickens or Sky Moore?
Sky Moore right here. I'm with it. So, like I was saying, with DeAndre Hopkins being Marquise Brown's counterpart, it is just going to allow Marquise to be in space so long as DeAndre can stay on the field. We saw him struggle with injury last season, but when he was on the field, he was a touchdown machine. It does not matter who you pair with DeAndre Hopkins, but ironically now you're pairing him with Marquise Brown, who had his best season by far with the Ravens, and it really does make me a little bit sad for Hollywood Brown to leave the Ravens when he's finally started to hit his stride over there in Baltimore. But he's 100% right. It's not a fit for him. He comes to Arizona with Kyler Murray, who is a very wide receiver friendly quarterback. He lets the ball fly downfield, one of the most accurate deep balls in the game, and he lets it go. To pair him with Hollywood Brown, who he has a relationship already with him in Oklahoma, it is going to be a treat to watch them play together. And I'm excited for it. And I have no doubt that Hollywood Brown is going to take another leap in his development this season.
It's funny that Hollywood says this because I just looked up their pass percentages. Baltimore threw the ball 56.37% of the time. Arizona threw it 56.44% of the time. It's a very, very thin margin between the percentage of times Baltimore throws it compared to Arizona throws it. But I understand the notion that Lamar versus Kyler is going to be, or at least their scheme is going to be more pass heavy, 5 wide receiver sets. That's what Cliff likes to do.
And I didn't want to get rude with what I was saying because I don't have anything against Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. I think he is a fantastic quarterback. Without a doubt, he is a great quarterback. But for Marquise Brown, Kyler Murray is going to benefit him tremendously because he is a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
I know what you're saying.
You should look up the percentages for 2020. I say that because in 2021, the D-Hop injury probably skews that number.
Yeah, and Lamar was out too for some time. So
yeah,
that
but
I know what you're saying.
I understand
because
that,
once D-Hop goes down, James Conner was fulfilling that need for them to get some type of offense.
I'll try to look at the 2020 numbers. But this trade wasn't bad until we saw the A.J. Brown trade, right? Until we saw the A.J. Brown get traded for pick 18. I was like, all right, Hollywood. I think of him as like a pretty damn good wide receiver too. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 on any team, but he could be a really good wide receiver too. And he really showed that ever since he was a rookie. His rookie season, he was second in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Year 2, he stepped it up. He led the team in all of those statistics. And this past year, his best season to date, first time eclipsing 1,000 yards, had 91 receptions. Obviously, Mark Andrews led the team in a ton of these categories. This was his best season, funny enough, without Lamar, with Lamar missing the most games in his whole career so far. And, him and Hollywood, or Hollywood and Lamar, go back. Like, they have been boys before the NFL. They both grew up in Florida. They've been good friends. So it was kind of weird for me to see this report saying that Hollywood wanted out. I understand he doesn't want to be on a run-first team. He's obviously not a great blocker, only being 5'9".
Yep.
But I was surprised that he didn't want to stick it out with Lamar, him being his boy and everything. Lamar has shown that he could take the team to the playoffs, win playoff games, and he's a Super Bowl capable playoff game, something that Kyler hasn't done. But Lamar is capable, just like Kyler, to win the Super Bowl. So I was a bit surprised that he made this request, especially at the end of the season where Lamar was banged up. He wasn't able to stay on the field the whole season, so he didn't really get to see, at least Hollywood, who really came into his own this year, mesh with Lamar to see what they were able to accomplish. But for Arizona, the deal makes them better immediately. Whoever they were going to pick at 23, especially at receiver, are not going to come in and have the impact that Hollywood Brown is going to have. Their wide receiver room going into this season, of course, DeAndre Hopkins is a stud. AJ Green is, on the wrong side of 30. Rondale Moore, it doesn't kill Rondale Moore.
He's a gadget guy.
But it tells us what the Cardinals think of Rondale Moore. They spent
being nice to Rondale Moore.
I am. I like to be nice to players in general, but it tells us what the
Rondale
Cardinals
Moore,
think.
It's a bit different.
It tells them what the Cardinals think of Rondale Moore. They spent a second-round pick on him. They obviously don't see him as the future wide receiver 2 of this team, or else they wouldn't trade their only first-round pick in this draft for Hollywood. But it makes a ton of sense, especially losing Christian Kirk as well. So for Arizona, it helps them immediately. Whoever they pick at 23 wasn't going to help, and they're trying to go out, win playoff games, get to a Super Bowl. They made the playoffs for the first time in a while this past season, and also show Kyler, we got Hopkins, now we got Hollywood. We're putting the pieces around you. They want to re-sign him long-term. It seems like him or Kyler and the Cardinals had some sort of agreement that he's going to put his stuff back on Instagram and, not do all of this social media nonsense.
K1, baby. Never in doubt.
They seem to be in a good place, but it's sooner than later they're going to have to give him a $200 million contract, $200 million plus. So then that's when we'll really see what it means for Kyler and the Cardinals. And then lastly, for Baltimore, I don't love it, right? I understand what they did. They didn't, at least, he's going into year 4. They were going to pick up his 5th-year option, eventually extend him.
Vikings traded up.
Yeah, that's it.
Vikings traded up? Okay. But they went on, used that pick, traded down. Malik, you think that's the Malik spot?
Yep.
Okay. They used that 23rd pick, traded down to get Tyler Linderbaum. They got Kyle Hamilton at 14. They had a phenomenal draft, even only having 1 first-round pick, turning into 2 and getting 2 players who are going to help immediately, both at positions of need, DB room and interior offensive line. But having Devin Duvernay as your wide receiver 2 is not pretty. They're going to have to upgrade. They need 2 wide receivers.
And Bateman's got to take a huge leap.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Bateman.
I agree.
But I view him in a similar light as Hollywood. I don't think either of them are wide receiver 1s. I think Bateman can be a really good wide receiver 2. I'm not sure of seeing him as a top 12 type of receiver. You still have Andrews there. So you have 2 reliable weapons. You're getting J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards back. But there has to be some plan in place because you can't have Devin Duvernay, James Prochet, and Tylan Wallace be your receivers behind Rashad Bateman.
Listen, this is a weird segment for me because I'm not high on either team. I'm not extremely high on either quarterback.
They took Andrew Booth.
That's a good pick as well.
Very good pick.
That's a very good
pick.
Giants on the clock.
You were talking about 34 too. I think Andrew Booth at there is a really good pick.
Definitely.
Now,
great value.
This is what I want to say. The Ravens, Offensively, they got worse. I mean, they lost Hollywood Brown. Let's see what Rashad Bateman does. Let's see what he does. I like that they got Tyler Linderbaum out of this. I think this was a really good move for them.
Needed it.
They just lost Bradley Bozeman. He went to the Carolina Panthers. So now you needed to bolster up that offensive line once again. If you do want to be a run-heavy first team, you need a block. Defensively, they're looking better with that Kyle Hamilton pick.
Sure.
Arizona, they're going all in on offense. Their defense is average at best. That's being nice. The offensive line is average at best. That's being nice.
At best.
The tight end room, Zach Ertz and Max Williams, it's okay.
It's
average.
That's solid.
Zach Ertz is not the player he used to be.
But he had a really good season when he joined Arizona.
But he's not the player he used to be.
I'm with you.
This was good because Rondale Moore is not a traditional receiver. They need a second receiver next to DeAndre Hopkins. This is a Christian Kirk replacement. I mean, what is the real difference between Christian Kirk and Hollywood Brown? Hollywood is slightly better.
Hollywood's better.
It's slightly better.
Hollywood just put up 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns.
I understand Hollywood Brown wanting to be out, wanting to get traded because the scheme fit isn't for him. But I also have to hold him accountable because the scheme has nothing to do with you dropping balls.
It was one game.
Just 3 touchdowns.
I know.
Are we gonna
They won though.
I know,
wait, are we gonna
had a
act like
67-yard
Hollywood Brown hasn't had a drop problem since he entered the NFL? He's had a drop problem since he entered the NFL.
But last season it was specifically that week against the Lions.
Hollywood Brown was the first receiver drafted in a class that featured A.J. Brown, Debo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf. I mean, this guy gets no breaks. The fact that he wanted to leave. If I'm Eric DeCosta, I'm opening the door for you because there's no way I'm giving you a long-term contract. Arizona now is going to have to give Hollywood Brown a long-term contract. Let's see how that works out. Arizona is in a position where they're now going to pay Kyler Murray big-time money, which, granted, he is a very good player, so he's a great quarterback. You have to pay him. So you're paying Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown. He's up next. Where's the money to improve this team going forward? I'm not high on Arizona. I thought that, quite frankly, Hollywood Brown, I like it. I like the fit. Air raid fit.
100%.
It's a good scheme fit. Using his speed, I like it a lot. Does this change the trajectory? No. Does this make the Cardinals more fun to watch? Yes.
Trajectory of Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a trend right now. We're coming off an offseason where Tyreek Hill was traded, Devontae Adams was traded, A.J. Brown was traded, Hollywood Brown was traded. All players, outside of Hollywood at least, that vocalize wanting brand new contracts. And Debo Samuel is disgruntled. I feel like there's a new trend going on where NFL teams are going to start treating the wide receiver position like the running back position. We're gonna get great production out of you if you hit for your rookie contract, but we're not going to pay you that long-term money. We're not going to pay you that. We're not going to give you long-term money. We're not going to give you those guarantees, that big-time deal. If these teams were not willing to pay Devontae Adams, the Packers, which they could have, they just didn't want to, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, I mean, these are big-time names.
Well, Tay wanted out. Green Bay wanted him back. Tay wanted out.
Tyreek
Hill, yeah, I mean, Kansas City, you pay a quarterback that much money, money's going to get tight.
You get handcuffed.
Yeah, and the Giants just took Wan'Dale Robinson.
That pick
sucks. He's 5'8".
I don't understand what's going on there. N'Kobe Dean's right there. You need a linebacker.
I don't mind going receiver.
Blake Martinez.
I don't mind going
Blake
receiver,
Martinez
but I'd rather have
another
Sky
one.
Moore.
He was injured all last season.
He's 5'8",
You don't want to pay that. I don't like it.
Not
I would
a
have
huge
taken
fan.
N'Kobe Dean.
He has some injury.
I feel like that's a new trend going on, though.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen, because it's different. Running backs, we've seen second contracts not work out. Receivers, we've seen guys, play well into their late 20s, into their early 30s as well. So I understand what you're saying, and it's interesting because
you're right, but also we're starting to see more frequently receivers coming out of college and putting up big time numbers.
Yeah.
We've seen back-to-back years receivers set the rookie receiving yards record in Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Obviously, those are anomalies.
Thank you.
But the fact that it happened in back-to-back years kind of shows that there is a trend going on.
These are also generational guys. Like Jamar Chase.
Jamar was wasn't a prospect.
Jamar is amazing.
I mean, he
Jed
wasn't an elite level prospect. Justin Jefferson, yeah.
No.
Like, these are both.
You said he wasn't. You said he wasn't a prospect.
A generational prospect.
Yes, no, Jamar for sure.
Yes.
You're 100% right on Jettis. But Jettis has come in. He's already solidified himself at minimum.
Top three.
Top three.
All these, and in 2019 class, DK had 1,000, had close to 1,000. Terry had close to 1,000. AJ Brown had 1,000. Hollywood didn't have it.
Debo didn't have it.
Debo, but injuries. Like most of these guys have come out and have.
He was relatively healthy rookie season. Actually.
and
I think he missed one game.
Yeah.
2020 wide receiver class. I'm forgetting who was at the top of that.
Jettis, Ruggs, Lamb.
Yeah, all those guys. All those guys outside of Judy, Rager. Well, mostly 3 misses, like 2 hits. But
You're saying Judy's a miss?
so far, yes, it is a miss.
You just got to get onto the wave.
Bro, 400 yards? Are you kidding me?
We missed 8 games.
He missed almost half
I know,
the
but
season.
like so far, it's a miss. Off of the production, I'm not saying he's going to
Drew
be a
Lock
bust.
was his quarterback. He had almost 900 receiving yards.
I'm not saying he's going to be a bust, but so far it's been a miss. Like if
No, I'm glad. No, it's
football,
good.
If
No,
football,
bro, it's good.
If,
It's good.
If
Bro,
somehow,
it's good.
I know. I'm just saying.
No, there's nothing to say. You're fine. You don't need
I'll finish saying my statement.
I don't know if you want to.
If football stopped today, nobody played again, and we just look back at their careers,
Oh my
Judy's
God,
a miss.
Such a whack comment to make, though.
That's tough, bro. 2 years. He's been injured. But one thing that's interesting, look at the teams that are trading away these receivers too.
Ruggs is more of a hit than Judy so far.
Please.
Well, not anymore, but
Bro, can we stop recording the show? What you just said was ridiculous.
What are you saying?
Henry Ruggs has never played another down in the NFL.
no, but like their first 2 years, Ruggs' first 2 years compared to Judy's
you
first
could
2
look at
years,
his first year.
Ruggs
That's
is
it,
better.
bro.
Ruggs is
But
better.
regardless, the teams that are trading away these receivers, like you have the Chiefs, the Titans, the Packers, all teams that we think are, well organized, competent teams, really don't have an issue trading away these guys too. And the teams that are acquiring them, the Dolphins, I saw this, I forgot who mentioned this, but like the teams who are acquiring these guys are usually the teams that we don't think is the most well run, like the Raiders and the Dolphins. So while I don't agree with you in terms of I think giving out second contracts to receivers is fine, the teams that have been winning over these last 10 years are trading away wide receivers and don't seem to be, hell-bent on it.
Also, the teams acquiring them, Dolphins, Eagles,
Raiders.
rookie quarterbacks.
True.
So that's
Not the
all.
Raiders, but yeah.
And Arizona is about to pay Collar, but that's and the Raiders, but that's showing that if teams already are paying a quarterback, most likely the wide receiver is not getting that
Yeah,
extension.
that's why you got to be aggressive while you have that rookie contract.
Yeah, no
For
doubt.
the quarterbacks.
Before we go on to the next segment, a quick word from DraftKings. The NBA playoffs means next level basketball. Get in on the first round action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets instantly. You win no matter what. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet during the first round with the same game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Plus, place the same game parlay each day with 3 or more legs and get up to $25 in free bets back if one leg doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Bet $5 on any NBA team to win their game during the first round of the playoffs and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code TBPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Shout out DraftKings, man.
Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback drafted in the first round at pick 20. He's going to the Steelers. He played college at Pittsburgh, had 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in his final season, 4,300 yards, and completed 67% of his passes. The consensus around multiple scouts and analysts is that he is the most pro-ready quarterback. But there has been some chatter and some questions about whether he was the right pick over a guy like Malik Willis, who has a higher ceiling. Now, because of that, do you think that drafting Kenny Pickett was the right choice? Or would you have liked to see the Steelers fill more needs?
So that too. John Mechie
like
to the
it.
Texans.
I like it.
A bit earlier than I expected, but I remember watching Jameson Williams tape and I'm like, damn, Mechie's kind of good.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it.
He is solid.
Kenny Pickett, we have a couple, we had Joey on the show a few months ago who's a big Steelers fan. Our friend Jer as well, who's a big Steelers fan too. They wanted Malik. They're not speaking on the entire Steelers fan base, and Pittsburgh had their choice of Malik or Kenny Pickett. And leading up to the draft, during the Senior Bowl, the Combine, the Pro Days, it seemed like Mike Tomlin was just infatuated with Malik Willis, and I think a lot of people expect them to take Malik, and they ended up going with Kenny Pickett. Pickett was my quarterback 2 in this class, so I don't see it as this utter disgrace where they just completely bomb the pick. but I kind of look at this as being short-sighted. I think the Steelers look at this selection and wanted to get a guy that could help immediately. And I don't exactly agree with that because they signed Mitchell Trubisky, who I don't think is great by any means. I think he's a below-average quarterback, probably one of the bottom 5 to 7 quarterbacks in the NFL. But at least year one, he's probably going to be better than Kenny Pickett. I mean, Pickett was a 5-year player at Pitt. He started for 4 seasons. He didn't break out to his super senior season at Pitt, and it took him a while to really get going. The seasons before that, his true senior season, he had 2,400 yards, 13 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. A pretty pedestrian season by any account. As long as you're a first-round prospect, you're usually putting up ridiculous numbers, which he did in 2021, putting up 4,300 yards, 42-7 touchdown interception ratio. So his final season, he was phenomenal, but you have to remember, he's 23, going against guys that are 18 to 20 years old. I mean, he's just far more developed in terms of physically and mentally. He's been in this program for 5 seasons now, so it's not shocking that he went out and dominated at Pitt. I just think I would have taken Malik because you could have Mitch Trubisky start for a season.
100%.
You could suck. You could get a top 10 pick, get another player who could come and contribute right away. And then you have Malik sitting for that entire season. He comes in year 2, and I think he gives you more upside than Kenny Pickett. I think physically he's better. Obviously, I'm not really infatuated with the whole hand size thing. I don't think that's a deal breaker per se because he's double jointed.
And he already played in Pittsburgh and was efficient.
And so like he's double jointed, so his hands don't stretch like a normal person's hands do. Like it's not exactly fair to compare it. But Pickett, in terms of his traits, he's a really good down-the-field passer, completing over 50% of his deep passes. I think he's really calm in the pocket, but can struggle at times when he faces blitzes and just generally under pressure. He has great ball placement. He can make off-platform throws as well, throws with great anticipation. So he has traits there that you could definitely work with, but I personally just would have went with the higher upside guy, especially because you have a bridge quarterback in place with Mitch Trubisky.
You want me to go?
Yes.
I tell you what, I feel very similarly. Where you bring in Mitch now to be that bridge quarterback like you mentioned, to transfer you over to your next quarterback. You take the guy with the higher ceiling in Malik Willis. Kenny Pickett at 24, my concerns I stated before the draft. Let's say he comes in now and he gets drafted by a team that has a quarterback and he has to wait a couple seasons. How old is Kenny Pickett going to be when he makes a start? He could
24?
start this season, right? He's 24 right now. He's 24 right now. Let's say that Trubisky comes in and he plays well to start.
He turns 24 in June.
Okay. So it's probably looking at 25, potentially 26. He was a first-round quarterback, yes. But if Trubisky can play well and show that he has taken strides in his game, is better than what he showed in his time in Chicago, where he showed some flashes, but for majority was not great. If Trubisky plays well, this is a wasted pick. Where at least with Willis, he can come in. It could be a wasted
Trubisky's
pick.
not
Malik
your
Willis.
franchise.
I'm not disagreeing.
Malik Willis turns 23 in a month.
Okay, so he's 22 right now.
So Kenny
enough.
Pickett and him, they're a year apart.
But my only concern here is
Pickett is 23, turns 24 in June.
I like the higher ceiling, and I like that possibility of Malik Willis coming in and really being a game changer. He showed that he can be a dynamic quarterback in terms of using his legs and being able to make tacklers miss. Was one of the I think he was the league leader in broken tackles last season, or missed tackles forced. He has those abilities. It's just a matter of whether he can be an accurate passer. He has the arm clear as day. He has the strongest arm in this draft. I think that is a little bit risky to go with Pickett. I think I would have gone Willis for sure, but time will tell.
You know, this is a bit easy for me just giving my analysis on this, because oftentimes we don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about the business side of football enough. Kenny Pickett to the Steelers is a PR marketing dream. He's from Pittsburgh. Every single fan in Pittsburgh, Steelers, they wanted Kenny Pickett. That's who they want. This guy is going to sell out jerseys, and
You think so?
I think he is.
Pittsburgh's,
I think he
Pittsburgh
is.
fans.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
And not only that, but Kenny Pickett, to most analysts and scouts, is the most pro-ready quarterback in this draft. Can start right away, and he has a higher floor than most. He has a higher floor than all these quarterbacks. His floor is the highest amongst all these quarterbacks. That's why I'm not downing this pick. When we talk about the draft, we often talk about potential so much, especially when we talk about the quarterback position. Now, I just had this idea in my head because there have been so many quarterbacks that have come into the draft cycle and everybody salivates over their potential. Look at his arm strength. Look at this mobility. Look at how he does this. He can be a star. Quarterbacks in general don't hit. Quarterbacks that you take over a guy that is clearly better because of the potential factor usually don't hit sometimes as well. Now, everybody is salivating over Malik Willis's potential when he's probably going to be Ryan Mallett.
Jesus.
Is that so crazy to say?
Well, when the Lions take Malik Willis right now and they become one of the better offenses in the league, we'll see.
The only disagreement I have is teams look for traits.
Ryan Mallett had the traits.
I understand, but the whole potential thing, like teams are going to look for potential in terms they're looking for traits, looking for the big arm, looking for mobility.
But traits is also reading defenses, scanning the field.
His
being
issue
accurate.
is his ability to get the ball out on time. He hesitates a little bit too much.
Malik also is not accurate. He completes 61% of his passes.
No, definitely.
But we agree, none of these quarterbacks we love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
So, like, if you take Kenny Pickett and he's okay, if Malik is Ryan Mallett, what's Kenny Pickett?
Like, I would have used
Jared Goff.
I would say, who was your Taysom Hill comp? Who was it again?
Oh, it was
Kenny Pickett, right?
Taysom Hill's better than Ryan Mallett.
Yeah,
Should they
he's
not
in the
have-
NFL because of Sean Payton?
They should have 100% gone offensive line.
But they built it up in the offseason. They signed a few guys.
You would rather still protect it for the future.
Malik Willis, this take might age badly in a minute because the Lions are on the clock. I think Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder goes before him. Desmond Ridder, I think he's probably going to be.
not
I think that's
crazy.
going to
That's
fuel
not
Malik.
crazy.
Malik has that like character and that
He does, man.
moxie that he's
I
like, all right,
Malik a lot.
I'll eat that and I'll keep
He's
it
a cool
pushing.
dude.
That's
Yeah.
why
Oh my
I'm
God.
hesitating
What happened to
over.
Malik?
I'm hesitating.
Oh my god,
I'm hesitating over tweeting the Ryan Mallett thing.
no, that's ridiculous, bro.
It's not ridiculous.
Just don't.
It's
Please
really
don't tweet
not.
it, please.
It's not ridiculous.
Can we-
Why do you
it
think it's
It
ridiculous?
would be the
Ryan Mallett
third ridiculous
sucks.
thing you've said on the show.
You think
so.
it's just ridiculous because you think Malik Willis is somehow going to be a star.
I don't think Malik was. I just said I'm down all the quarterbacks. Ryan Mallett was bad. He's not good,
No, he was very talented, and he had a stretch with the Texans where he was good. Actually,
bro.
he had like a couple game stretch where he was okay.
What, 2?
Yeah, but
Oh, sick.
what-
Yeah,
what
2
I'm
good
saying.
games.
but out
so
of
did Sam Darnold.
but out of Arkansas, he was like the
I'm not
strongest
down. I'm
arm
not
in
down.
the
I'm
draft.
not down the
He had
prospects.
the traits.
I'm not down the
I'm
prospects.
just saying, traits aren't everything, bro.
But I know. But teams
And
look at traits.
he was better in college than Malik Willis.
Teams look at
production-wise,
traits
too.
Yeah, Malik numbers wise was not incredibly impressive by any means.
At
Kenny
all,
Pickett
he was below average.
But Kenny Pickett,
numbers-wise.
it just bothers me that it took him his 5th year. They passed on him.
I'm telling you,
Josh
like
Pascal.
everybody is exactly. They're not even looking at Malik because
Well, no, the NFL's telling us what they think of Malik.
yeah, they
I mean, I
don't
don't-
think he's going to be that great of a player.
I'm fuming.
But it only
But
takes,
if you-
it only
if
takes
you-
one. If the Steelers
what
pass
you
on
mean.
Pickett, who knows?
I
He
know
could
what
be
you
here
mean,
too.
but watching Malik on film, you're like, there's a lot of red flags, bro.
I know, but you also have the traits that teams are going to look at and be like, we could fix this.
Yes, and that's
Not
how
saying
you end
it's
up
right
with,
or wrong.
That's how you end up with Ryan Mallett.
Not saying it's right or wrong.
This
That's-
rumor of Malik going to just looks ridiculous.
Also,
Like,
just
even more
to add these
ridiculous.
quotes before we move on to the next segment, Kevin Colbert said Kenny is just a mature, even-keeled guy. When we're studying the quarterbacks, we not only watch them on the field, but we watch them off the field when they come off and how they are with teammates. How do they interact with their coaches? How do they conduct media interviews? We feel that the maturity that he displayed on and off the field will help him in that endeavor. Tomlin said this: we talked about his high floor, and the high floor was because of the intangibles, but also the anticipation and the pro accuracy were very obvious and consistent when studying his tape. It was a good thing for him to come back and go to school and get another year of college experience. He is 24 years old. He is a mature young man. You do see maturity in his game, and I think all of those things are going to put him in a position to compete. So,
Tyler Linderbaum, I would have gone.
Malik doesn't have any character concerns either.
Can
Just
Kenny
get that out
Pickett-
there.
can
He has
Kenny-
no character concerns. He's great
for
off
sure.
the field.
Look, I think Malik Willis is a great guy. I'm just speaking on the film.
I know. No, I know, bro. I don't think. But
You're
you're
right.
acting like
You're right.
Bro, let's
you're
just,
acting like Malik was a top 10 player to me. He's not.
I never said that, but I'm just saying
You told me I said he was
Thought
going
he
to
was
be
gonna
a star.
That is what you said.
I was just assuming. But let's just be honest here.
Stop assuming.
Was Malik your
fi-
QB1?
He was.
Yes,
He was.
off potential.
He was all of our QB.
But I don't like any of these QBs.
Neither do I.
I
bro.
am just saying. Let me finish. Damn. Let me finish.
Oh, now he doesn't like it.
Malik
Unbelievable.
Willis. You do it to me all the time. Stop
talking
that.
about
Stop
here?
that. I don't want to
What are
hear
you
from
talking about?
Stop that. Malik Willis, the film says that he's not a day one guy, bro.
I understand.
He's not a first round pick. The film says he's not.
Kenny Pickett took till year 5 where he's 3 years older than all these guys.
42 picks and 42 touchdowns and 7 picks.
I know what you're saying.
That is at least end of round 1.
I know what you're saying, but
projection.
Let me know if you agree or disagree. Would you rather hit on an average quarterback or miss on a bad quarterback?
Do you think Kenny Pickett can be as good as Baker Mayfield?
No.
That's not a high ceiling to hit.
No, it's not.
Answer the question because you know it's a yes. That's why you're taking long. I think he can be as good as Baker.
I mean, you're the one that likes Baker, don't you?
I like Baker.
Would you rather
think Kenny Pickett's
so you like Kenny now?
Would you guys?
He's got some moxie to him.
Answer this question. Would you guys rather hit on an average quarterback or miss or just bust on a quarterback?
Bust.
Pause. Jesus. Or just miss on a quarterback.
I'll give you another scenario. Would you rather hit on an average quarterback or swing and miss completely on a guy who has the high upside, but he can never even start a game in the NFL because he just can't. He's not good.
But when you miss, at least you know you miss and you have to move on to the next guy. When you hit on these average guys like a Daniel Jones, who I think is below average, you continue to put him out there. This is year 4 of Daniel Jones. Instead of year 2, no Josh Rosen. He's a complete miss. Now we got Kyler. Now, obviously, they got lucky. They ended up having number 1 pick. That doesn't happen all the time. But when you miss on these quarterbacks, you could right away go, okay, we need a new quarterback. Let's get in here. Instead of being stuck in this quarterback purgatory where you have a guy who's decent, but he's not great, but he's not terrible. He's going to win enough games, but you're not going to have a top 5 pick. So I'd rather just swing for the fences on Malik and you miss because it's not like Kenny Pickett's not going to be a top 10 guy. He's not going to be a top 10 quarterback.
Okay, I'm not totally disagreeing with you, but there's always a risk to that. And there are some players where the risk is warranted. With Malik on film, it doesn't feel like the risk is warranted with that. It just that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. He has traits. He has the big arm. He's mobile.
He's got a huge arm.
I'm gonna tweet
needs
this.
To be accurate.
Are you gonna do the Ryan Mallett tweet,
Let's
bro?
get people mad.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna do numbers. Just
Let's get people mad.
You just said Ryan Mallett, who nobody's heard in like 15 years. I mean, he was in the league like 4 years ago, but regardless.
It's similar though. Traits are similar. You can't lie about that
Did
one.
Ryan Mallett have a huge arm?
His arm was incredible. So just search up some YouTube highlights real quick and look at it.
I'm just gonna go with his stats.
There's nothing I would want to do.
I don't want to
look at Ryan Mallett highlights. Nothing I want to do less.
Please, no, trust me. Just look at one big time throw. Look at one big time throw.
No,
I believe you, bro. I believe you.
No,
Drew, please.
Just look at one big time throw, please. Just look at one big time throw.
So you'd rather have Ryan Mallett than Taysom Hill is what you're telling me?
No, I'd rather have Taysom Hill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I'd rather have Taysom Hill than Ryan Mallett.
Dude, Ryan Mallett stinks.
Bro, look at his
college
stats.
Bro said he had 2 good games.
No, he did. Bro, Brett Coleman made a video about Ryan Mallett could be the Texans franchise quarterback.
You think he regrets that? Bro started 8 games. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry.
He played with D-Hop.
Played 21 games, but he's a 3-5 record.
He went to Clemson?
No, he went to Arkansas. He played with D-Hop in Houston.
That's what I was like, what?
He went to Houston. He got traded to Houston after New England.
2015, 1,300 yards. Oh, just kidding. I was looking at 2. That was his touchdown percentage. He had 6 interceptions, 5 touchdowns. Dude, this guy sucks.
Yeah, he's mid.
Bro, but he had the traits.
I can't believe I'm looking at Ryan Mallett stats. Where he was 2nd round pick?
He was a 3rd string quarterback on the Patriots.
Somebody just replied, this is either going to be an accurate or horrendous take.
Ryan Mallett was a 3rd round pick. 6'6", 240. He was a big fella.
Yeah, 6'6", 240, strong, very strong arm. Like, he had the traits, bro. But I'm saying it doesn't always matter.
I know
that much. Like, last year's draft in 2021, like, Trey Lance had the traits, but he also had 28 touchdowns, 0 picks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Like, he had that. Like, Fields had the production with the traits. So, those are warranted.
But even Pickett has 1 year of production, and it was his 5th season.
Joe Burrow, too, though.
But he was also on the greatest. But he was on the. He
Joe
is
Burrow
the leader of the greatest college football team of all time.
Burrow's
You can. Yeah, I know. I love Joe Burrow. You know how much I love Joe Burrow. You can say that, but also the knock on Joe Burrow was he had the talent, and he was carried by that talent.
He wasn't carried.
I know he wasn't carried, but
no one should say that.
That was the knock on.
He was one who sparked it. Correct.
Yeah, even though he's like, I love.
He was
Joe Burrow.
all world.
But I'm just saying, just because you just have 1 year production, Zach Wilson only has 1 year production.
I know.
We're not gonna hold
but
that
Zach
against
Wilson's
him.
a better prospect.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm not mad at the Steelers for going with the safer quarterback. I'm not.
That's not the end of the world. He's my quarterback too. I'm not distraught.
I told you I'd go Desmond Ridder over Malik.
I need to see where Sam
Looking
goes,
at these upcoming picks, the Bears aren't taking quarterback, but you have
No.
the Saints at 49, right? 49,
Yep,
yeah.
The Saints, we were talking about them taking him in the first round.
Yeah, the Colts at 53, and then Falcons at 58, Vikings at 59. This could be third round quarterbacks at this point.
Yeah. On to the winners and losers of the first round of the NFL draft. I'll start with you, Joel. Who are your winners for the first round of the NFL draft?
I have 4 winners. We talked about basically all these teams already, but the Jets getting 3 first-round picks. You pick up Sauce, who brings that swag to the defense that desperately needed. Garrett Wilson, you get another wide receiver who's an elite separator with Elijah Moore. And then Jermaine Johnson, who's on some people's board a top 3 edge rusher in this class. He only has 1 real year of production at FSU, but he got some playing time at Georgia.
Some people's boards is insane, but
I'm pretty sure Daniel Jeremiah had him as the 3rd or 4th ranked edge rusher in this class. Him and Joe Douglas are boys, so it doesn't shock me.
Okay.
The Lions are huge winners, getting Jamison Williams and Hutchinson. Though that duo is the best in the entire
like
draft
so far.
And then the New York Giants getting Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau home run.
All right, I have a few winners. I was live tweeting through this draft, and it seemed like every other pick I was saying, I love this pick. But without a doubt, number 1 winner, New York Jets. I don't have to say anymore. Sauce, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, to address every single need that you have in one draft in the first round. Amazing. What happened, man?
Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah, yikes. Lions, without a doubt, are my second winners to have Aiden Hutchinson and Jamison Williams come in my 2 number 1s at their respective position. Hutchinson being my best player in the draft available, and Williams being my number 1 receiver in the draft. To get both of them, obviously, I have to be on board with the Lions. And you said the Giants, correct? So then I won't go Giants. I'll go a curveball, actually, that people aren't going to believe. Kansas City Chiefs. For them to get Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis, to trade into the first, to move up, I should say, to get Trent McDuffie. They desperately needed secondary, and to get Trent McDuffie at that pick was an absolute steal, arguably the steal of the draft. And then George Karlaftis, who was very high on a lot of people's boards as well, to get them in the late 20s was an excellent pick by them. You're probably going to lose Melvin Ingram. They desperately need an edge rusher, and to get George Karlaftis is huge.
I love what you guys said. First round winners to me is also kind of like first round steals. So this is not a steal, but I think the Panthers won with their pick. Ike Ekwonu. They now have an offensive line of Ike, Bradley Bozeman, Austin Corbett, Taylor Martin. Those are 4 solid offensive linemen.
Cute line now.
And their offensive line was horrendous last season, so this can definitely improve maybe Sam Darnold's play. If he's the starter this upcoming season, the Chiefs definitely won. Karlaftis, McDuffie, the Ravens with Linderbaum and Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams sounds like the best duo, the best safety duo in football. We know the Jets, the Giants, they both won.
Easy.
Most teams that had 2 picks in the first round won. The Packers, now that we know they drafted Christian Watson in the second round.
We didn't even talk about Brees for the Jets.
Those two picks with Quay Walker
first round here.
and Devontae Wyatt look really good right now.
They look great now.
They look really good.
They look great because I had the Packers as a loser because I was disappointed that they didn't take a wide receiver. But for them to get the player that I wanted them to take in Christian Watson, I can't complain.
Also, the 2 teams at the end of the first round, Bengals, Vikings, taking Dax Hill, who's a versatile safety. He can even play slot corner. I love that pick. Him and Jesse Bates is going to be awesome. And then Lewis Seen with the Vikings. Very good player, too. So I like most of these picks.
Your losers I'm interested to hear because, to be honest with you, it was hard to really find a blatant loser. I have one specific, but I'm 4. Interested.
So Lewis Seen, just before we go on to our losers, did not allow a touchdown as the primary defender in pass coverage last season.
Nice.
On 500 total pass coverage snaps, and that was the most coverage snaps by any FBS defender without allowing a touchdown all year.
And we didn't talk about Baltimore got David Ojabo in the second round. He tore his Achilles at his pro day, but before that he was a guaranteed top 15 pick.
Was he the one that had the ugly clip of him tearing his Achilles and then they just let him lie there?
It was terrible.
Nasty.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear the losers.
I have 4 losers.
Okay, I'm interested. I know one specifically.
Yeah, one's the Saints.
Easy. Yep.
You guys know the 2 players I was down the most in the first round were Chris Olave and Penning. I think Chris Olave, they traded up for him as well. They traded up for a wide receiver 2. He offers nothing after the catch. He broke 9 tackles in 4 years at Ohio State. His senior year, he was the 3rd best wide receiver on his team. Penning, he just has issues across the board. He's an older prospect as well, I think. But overall, I didn't like Penny. I mean, the tackles kind of dried up after Charles Cross. I know, like, Tyler Smith went to Dallas as well.
That was a great pick by them.
He had some penalty problems too, but I didn't really love any of the tackles after the big three, so Penning's just more a factor of that than anything. I didn't like the Vikings draft. I think trading down from 12 to 32, only getting an extra third, while I like Lewis Seen, I think that's a really good pick for them. I don't like trading down 20 picks, letting your division rival get Jameson Williams, and really you just moved up in the second and got an extra third. The player I like, but the strategy behind it didn't like. The Patriots, Cole Strange, they haven't really been a great drafting team for a while. Mac Jones was obviously a hit, but Cole Strange, I know you saw the Rams joking about him being there in the hundreds. I think they needed to get an explosive playmaker. I would have tried to get a wide receiver there, Sky Moore or George Pickens, but it looks like both of those guys are falling late into the second round. And then lastly, the Commanders. I'm not a big Jahan Dotson fan, especially taking him over Treylon Burks is ridiculous to me.
I'm with you on the Patriots. I definitely would have gone receiver at that point. They definitely need some weapons to help Mac Jones out, and they didn't do so. The Jaguars, actually, I have as a loser solely for the fact that I have Travon Walker as my third best edge rusher. I have Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau over him. So for them to take, in my opinion, a gamble at number one, which it should never be, is definitely not best case scenario for me. And the reason why I have the Saints as losers, even though I am higher on Olave than you are, is because Jameson Williams was right there for you. Yeah. I understand the idea that you already have Michael Thomas, who you fear can't stay on the field, has been out for almost 2 full seasons, really a season and a half. But to bring in another injury concern, yes, I understand that hesitancy, but it's already been said. He's been progressing ahead of schedule on his ACL surgery, and he is just one big play waiting to happen. I'm going to continue to say it. He is the best big play receiver in this draft. He is going to be the best receiver in this draft. To pass on him is a loss for me.
I'm not mad at the Saints draft outside of Penning. I like Chris Olave.
Tyler Smith, I would have taken 100% over him as well.
Because I like Chris Olave. Because they have Michael Thomas. So Chris Olave doesn't have to be a wide receiver number one.
You traded up in your 11th overall pick. I think I wanted wide receiver 1.
Okay, but maybe Chris Olave surprises all of us. We don't know. Maybe.
I think Olave is going to be solid.
Justin
for sure.
Jefferson surprised everybody.
Listen, I'm not saying that I'm down on. I know it's.
I'm just saying he did.
I'm not down.
Nobody thought he was going to be this good.
Again, I'm higher on Olave
Justin
than
Jefferson
most.
Is a prospect.
The Saints, Alante Taylor, cornerback. PFF users picked Malik Willis.
They've picked Malik Willis for a ton of people. I actually looked at who was I looking at?
Bro, they've picked Malik Willis for every single pick.
Oh yeah, it was the Giants pick. 11% of users like the Wan'Dale Robinson pick. It's kind of cool.
The Bears are sorry.
Oh no,
they're sorry. How is Pickens not the pick here? Or Sky Moore? Anyone?
Pickens.
I'm just
Chiefs.
I'm scared because they have a new head coach and they have a new front office. That I mean, how do you just?
So on to my losers, Commanders. Jahan Dotson, I thought, was a very big reach. When watching him on film, highlights, nothing stood out to me. He can play outside. This narrative that he's just a slot guy is a false narrative. He can play outside. But I thought Washington, who they're probably going to pay Terry McLaurin, they have Curtis Samuel. They drafted Diami Brown last year with the 3rd round pick. I didn't think Jahan Dotson was the major need here. I feel like they need a coverage linebacker bad. Like Jamin Davis was the 1st round pick for them last year at pick 19, and he was bad. He was horrible. They need more help defensively, I think, not only with the cornerback position, at linebacker. So that's why it was kind of it was weird to me, that pick. The Texans lost to me.
Ooh,
Derek Stingley.
Disagree.
To take Derek Stingley over Sauce, I understand the upside of Derek Stingley, but it's a big risk when Sauce, to me, is a surefire player. And they drafted Kenyon Green, who I think is a good guard. It fills a need. Mm-hmm. But you saw, once he got the call, he was visibly upset. Looks like he didn't even want to go to Houston.
I didn't see that.
No, he was visibly upset. And they didn't have a pick in the 1st round of the draft, this team, but I think they're losers because the Raiders declined 5th-year options on all of their 2019 1st-round picks. Jonathan Abrams, Josh Jacobs, Cullen Farrell.
Like, I mean, the other two is not shocking.
But big-time misses. It's not shocking because they're bad. But, you know, the big storyline here is that they drafted 3 players in 2019 in the 1st round that were bad. So that's the big storyline here.
Josh Jacobs isn't bad.
Yeah, outside of Josh Jacobs.
Just 1st-round running backs. I mean,
outside of Josh Jacobs, I agree with you. But those are my losers. So 2 hours and 7 minutes. You know, we talk. I put up on Twitter. I tweeted on the Pick a Side Pod account that we were going to record the football episode on Monday, And everybody tweeted back like they agreed, yeah, Monday's such a better day to do it. And we just decided last minute to just change it up and, let's just record today because there's so much stuff that went
on some real quick to end the show. You said that Marquise Brown is going to be one of the better wide receiver 2s. Yeah. I'm going to name a few wide receiver 2s. You tell me if you take Marquise Brown or you take, these other guys. Okay. All right. T. Higgins. Chris Godwin. For sure. Now, is there any other wide receiver that you're taking outside those?
Wide receiver 2?
Wide receiver 2.
I'd have to think about it. I'd have to look some stuff. So look at these wide receiver 2s.
So if you're going to tell me that Marquise Brown is the third best wide receiver 2, just off the top of my head, and he's with Kyler Murray paired with DeAndre Hopkins, this offense is going to be insane. It's going to be amazing, actually.
Trying to think what other wide receiver 2s are out there. Hunter Renfrow.
I would take Marquise. With Kyler.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Tyler Lockett.
I'm taking Marquise.
I would take Lockett.
With Drew Lock?
Yeah, I know. But just in terms of who's better, Jalen Waddle. I mean, who's the number 2 there?
Of course. Those are ones.
Mike Williams.
Godwin's a 1. Mike Williams or
Mike Williams.
Come on now. No, I'm taking Hollywood.
That's not crazy, actually. That's not nuts. Devontae Smith. I know it's Smitty.
But I'm going to tell you what. I'm actually going Marquise, believe it or not.
Over Smitty.
For this upcoming season, without a doubt, he's going to be better. I am going Marquise.
Me too. Yeah, so he's the top 5 wide receiver too. That's not crazy.
No. For sure.
He's not a 1, which is
no.
fine.
Yeah, I don't think that he can be a 1 in that system. But with DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to put up numbers.
Oh no, it's going to be fun.
He's going to put up numbers.
Oh, the Patriots just traded up to 50.
He's going to remind me of a lot of Emmanuel Sanders in Denver.
I like that.
A lot of that. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe not as crafty as a route runner.
No doubt.
But yeah, I know what you're saying.
And they could get very creative.
Kobe Dean is going to be the pick.
You think? They value big linebackers though. Kobe Dean doesn't fit that.
I feel like the Patriots need to get. Okay, they're either going to Kobe Dean or they're going Nick Bonito from Oklahoma.
Sky Moore. They need a receiver.
They just traded for Devontae Parker. They're not going receiver.
That's
wow,
terrible.
They just went for Devontae Parker.
No, I understand what you're saying, but like the Patriots probably think that.
Yeah, you're right.
It's bad.
You're right.
I don't think it's Dean. I think they value big linebackers. I just
can't believe that that's what's going to be in their head.
I mean, also it's like I just before I go on and talk about this, I saw this tweet from Connor Hughes. I once covered a Jets offense that was led by Jermaine Kearse, Deontay Burnett, and the corpse of Matt Forte. Now, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Mike Carter, Breece Hall, CJ Uzama, and Tyler Conklin. What a difference Joe Douglas makes.
My first fantasy football team was winning as my forte. Fun fact.
The first year that we did a draft, I had Matt Forte on my squad, and he was absolutely amazing.
We used to really have hope for Deontay Burnett. Jets fans know the struggle. We used to think about
Stephen Hill and Devin Smith.
Stephen Hill was supposed to be good, though.
Stephen Hill was a dog.
My time as a Bronco fan, I had 6 strong years of being in misery. But
Shut up, bro.
We're back.
You know who's supposed to be good, too?
I'm trying to
Devin Smith. Ohio State.
It's kind of similar to Garrett
Wilson. He was supposed to be good.
He's fast Ohio State receiver.
Oh, jeez.
No. But we have Zach now, so it don't matter. He's going to make anyone good.
I was about to show you guys something, but I totally freaking forgot. Oh, yeah. Look, after the draft happened, I reached out to Sauce Gardner and Jermaine Johnson via Twitter DM to see if they want to come on the show. None of them have answered me yet. Maybe we should just shoot a shot on the show and post it on Twitter like a clip.
Let's do it.
How do you guys want to start this?
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just look into the camera. Be very, very sincere and truthful.
I was going to say, he's the king of doing this.
We're both Jets fans, so I think it makes more sense for us. But I want you to also be in it, though.
Yeah. Listen, you guys know I'm a supporter of the Jets.
They actually drafted a receiver. Well. They drafted Tyquan Thornton, who ran a 4.28 in the combine.
I like it. Oh, I don't mind it.
Tyquan Thornton?
I know. But at least they're trying. Go ahead.
I'll talk to Sauce. You want to talk to one of the other ones?
I feel like we're going to have better luck getting Jermaine Johnson.
Jermaine?
Yeah. I saw his Instagram story. He has like a setup, like a streaming setup because he games.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
All you have to do is Zoom.
I go for Jermaine. I'll go for Sauce. You gotta shoot your
Let's
shot.
just all go for Jermaine.
Okay.
I think we can get Jermaine.
Reach for the stars. Shoot for the moon. Shoot for the moon.
Let's start this off then. Okay. All right. If you're watching this right now, Jermaine Johnson, it's because this was intentional. I'm a Jets fan. My partner in crime here is a Jets fan. We want you to be on the show. We want to do a quick 15 to 20 minute interview, talk about you being drafted, your story, you being a New York Jet. Listen, when Joe Douglas said that we went and got you because you told the Jets, you told Joe Douglas you wanted him to go get you. Well, we're doing a similar thing right now. We're trying to go get you.
We want you.
We're trying to get you on the show.
I like that.
So Jermaine Johnson, it would be an honor if you would come on the show and spend some of your time on here. We'd love it a lot as Jets fans ourselves, and we hope that this reaches you and hopefully you come on the show.
Yes, sir. Let's do it, Jermaine.
I'm not going to edit none of that.
No, that's perfect.
No, but even like us like planning it out either.
Okay.
Oh no, hell no, no.
No, of course.
Yeah,
The
too
Twitter
much
clip will
editing.
be edited,
Yeah,
but
it
not
will.
not the pick aside. Hell
Listen,
no.
the
People
real
that are
the
listening,
real ones.
yeah.
I
Exactly.
was
The
saying,
real
if
ones.
Jermaine listens 2 hours and 10 minutes into it, then
It really
he's gonna be
is
on
the
the show.
fans of us plotting on it.
Yeah, they're listening to how we plot about things.
Who knows? Maybe Jermaine will
There,
bring sauce with him.
there are
And
definitely
Garrett.
people that listen to the very end because we say spicy things towards the end and they'll call us
At
out.
the end,
on
that's
it.
usually when we're just bullshitting about God knows what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though Ryan Mallett was like, Still in.
Scolding hot take. Wide receiver in fantasy, Marquise Brown's top 10.
top 10.
Top 10.
Not a fan.
He was, what was he, 12 last season?
Nah. He was like 22.
I think that sounds right. That sounds right.
Alvaro and I were actually talking about
That
this last
sounds
night.
really
He was,
right.
22.
That sounds
Because he
right.
said the same thing. He's like, bro, it's like wide receiver 8. I'm like, no, he wasn't. You
He
gotta think
was
about-
at one point.
You got to think
early,
like
early.
the amount of receivers in this.
And that's
like, is he gonna be better
there's
than DJ Moore?
always anomalies.
Is he gonna be better than DJ Moore?
Fantasy wise,
Yeah.
big play wise.
Fantasy wise,
But that's what I'm saying. Big plays in fantasy play more points.
well,
And he's-
touchdowns.
Exactly. And he's gonna be a big play machine.
So you got Hollywood over DJ Moore in fantasy this year.
Yes, in fantasy.
Okay.
So the Eagles are on the clock. They took Cam Jurgens, the center. PFF users picked N'Kobe Dean, and I was one of those.
Everyone picked N'Kobe Dean.
I picked N'Kobe Dean.
At this point, bro, all these PFF guys, like, bro, the last picks, N'Kobe Dean, Malik Willis, Sky Moore, Malik Willis. So, like, it's all like, a lot of casual fans, they don't know the players at this point. So they're just taking the four or five guys they know.
Nobody does, for the most part, heavy scouting.
This
is what they get paid
You know
to do.
Cam Jurgens?
All right, Bernard Raymond.
don't.
You're a big Cam Jurgens
I don't
fan?
know.
Yeah,
I don't.
exactly.
Bernard Raymond. Here we go. This is where they go.
The Steelers, they're not doubling up at quarterback?
Imagine.
Like we said earlier, we are going to I don't know what do you guys want to do?
Right now,
Do you want to finish off the second round of the draft, or do you want to end the show here?
we can end it, and then we talk about rounds 2,
Yeah.
3. All
I would say there's only like a handful of guys
Yeah.
that really matter.
So next show is going to be Monday or Tuesday. We're going to try to fit in a basketball episode there because we know the playoffs are starting, the second round.
Oh,
is-
yeah.
Celtics in 5.
So
Celtics in 5.
thank you for listening and or watching. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Pick Aside Podcast, on Twitter at Pick Aside Pod. Buy merch at pickasidepodcast.com. Thank you for listening and or watching, and we'll see you next time.